Hey guys, welcome to the channel. As you see in the thumbnail, what if Issei expelled from Peerage and Mordred by Rias? Before I start, please do support for more awesome content, and subscribe my channel and like this video. Go support and follow the RageRevan for writing that awesome fanfic, and also make sure to comment on this story. Link in the description. A battlefield is hell itself. There's no hope to be had on one. There is nothing but unspeakable despair. Just a soulless crime we call victory, paid for by the pain of the defeated. But humanity has never recognized this truth. And the reason is that, in every era, a dazzling hero has blinded the people with their legends, and kept them from seeing the evil of bloodshed they bring. True human nature has not advanced a step beyond the Stone Age. Amiya Kiritsugu. Issei was riding his bike back to the Occult Research Club. He had just gotten his first contract, and he was happy to reveal it to them, as it was a very big achievement. It was a step in the right direction. He had a perverse grin, as he knew that things have been going well for him. He may perhaps ask Rias to show her cleavage or s. It has been a good day for the Red Dragon Emperor, since he had defeated Riser and saved Rias from being wedded to Riser. She knew that she owes Issei a lot, and has also been staying in his house alongside Asia. Seriously, partner, when will you stop looking at women in such a manner? Drake commented Issei with a sigh. His perverted attitude did sometimes get on his nerves, but it was not too harmful. Like he did not usually assault or harm anyone, although he did comment on their body, which annoyed the girls. Additionally, he was also perverted to some extent, although, unlike Issei, he won't be exclaiming them out in the open. Come on, Drake, it is not that you won't do it. All I ask is to see and maybe fee her sad though. I don't want to pressure if she is not comfortable with it, Issei added. This side of Issei that was present in him. He was not the type to force himself or force another girl to do something she never wanted. Additionally, if Rainier and Issei were a thing, he planned to sell all his porn and other Arrow games if their relationship worked out. But alas, nothing ever goes as planned. I guess, but partner, you will fall into deep trouble if you continue this. Although, I shouldn't be surprised at this point. Drake spoke with a sigh, as he continued, many of my hosts did amass many women's affection and attraction in their lifetimes, so it is no secret that you may get a harem. Really? You mean it? Issei asked with an excited tone, as Drake responded with a grin, I think, if you do it right, then your chances of getting a harem is pretty high. Oh yeah! Issei exclaimed into the night sky. He was truly happy, and this week has been the best for Issei. Issei started to drive off towards the Occult Research Club. However, you know what they say, all good things come to an end. Scene change. Occult Research Club building, 7 p.m. Issei had entered in the Occult Research Club, with a smile. It was genuine, unlike a perverted one. However, it soon went away when he saw the looks of either seriousness or outright anger. He looked around to see Kiba looking sad, but he did not know why. Soon his answers would have been revealed and it would change his life forever. President, I have some good news to share. I have finally gotten a new contract. My first new contract after a very long time, Issei spoke with a smile, trying to ease out the tension in my room. But the club president was not in a mood to hear them, as she dismissed them immediately. The club president was none other than Rias Gremory, as she spoke coldly. Yeah. Whatever. Rias spoke with a dismissive tone, as she continued while shaking her head, but that is not why I want to speak to you. There is something more serious that I want to talk to you. President, what happened? Issei's tone changed to concern. He did not understand why, but he had a bad feeling about what is going to happen. I want to talk about your perversion, Issei. It is getting out of hand. Issei felt dread. She never thought she would go after the very trait that made him and his two friends ostracized by the rest of the Ko Academy. It was even the same thing that made his parents, which would support him, almost give up on him. He did not know they loved him regardless of how he is. I understand. If you want, I will attempt to change myself. Issei spoke with an understanding tone. His perversion is the reason why he got into trouble most of the time. It is too late for that, Issei. The one who spoke was Akino, as she also had a look of disdain. Just how much they hate him, Issei thought with horror. Drake himself had a bad feeling about this. He tried to tell Issei to get out of there, but there was nothing he could do. It felt like Issei isolated himself from him, and he feared what would happen next. What do you mean? It is never too late to change oneself. Issei spoke, his tone had a bit of desperation mixed in it. He had a very bad feeling of what is going to happen next. He did not want to be abandoned by the ORC, he had already been abandoned twice in his childhood, and he did not want a repeat of that happening again. We want results, Perv, not false promises. The one who spoke was Kaneko. Her tone was monotone, but her facial expression and tone was enough to say a very different story. As Rias then spoke, announcing her decision, Kaneko is right. Your perversion is getting out of hand. I get the fact that you saved me from Riser, and I am not going to lie. I am grateful for that. I also expected you to become stronger, and you to not be a pervert, not immediately, but as time passed, it has been almost weeks since the fight, but there is no sign of that change in you, Issei. Rias spoke coldly, as Issei could feel the pressure increase, almost shuddering the Red Dragon Emperor, as he looked down and away, as she continued, henceforth, I have decided, you will no longer be a part of the Occult Research Club, until you change permanently. I don't want your perversion to tarnish the ORC as well as their members' reputation. You will only be welcomed when one of us asks you to enter. Issei felt the world collapse around him. Every word, every phrase was like a light spear to the heart. It reminded him of the words Rainier spoke to him. She often spoke of disgraceful words of him, and he was beginning to see no difference between this Rias and Rainier. Suddenly someone spoke. Issei, I tried to oppose their decision. I also stated that you will change, but there was nothing I could do. They outvoted me, and the worst part, we were outnumbered. It was against Asia also failed to save you from this decision. Kiba spoke sadly. He was truly helpless in this endeavor of Issei's. Asia then spoke with sheer sadness. Tears were falling from her eyes. I am sorry, I failed to help you despite what you did for me. Please forgive me. Asia exclaimed with too much of guilt. She tried to help, as she kept crying. Issei only took one last look at them and spoke sadly. I see. He looked towards Asia and Kiba and spoke, thank you for supporting me, but this is the last time we may be seeing each other. Asia and Kiba felt true dread. Their whole ORC was divided on the separation of Issei. Issei then looked at Rias and asked a question. Press no, Rias. Can I ask you one final question before I leave? Go ahead, Rias spoke coldly as Issei asked. Is it possible for someone of high-class status to identify if there is a fallen angel in the town? Yes. So what? Issei's got the answer he needed. His hair covered his face as he spoke coldly. I see. Well, Rias, hope you are happy with your freedom. Cause don't expect me to be the same after this. Rias and the others felt a shudder at Issei's cold tone. There was no reason for him to help this bitch ever again. She has shown her true colors. He soon walked away as Asia and Kiba, who had heard everything, had an idea of what Issei understood, as they spoke. You can have our resignations too from Issei. Kiba spoke coldly and angrily. He had now lost an additional comrade because of what she has done. As Asia continued, I am done, too. Goodbye. You will have our letters tomorrow. What is the meaning of this? Rias exclaimed angrily as Kiba spoke coldly to him. I see Issei as a friend, a comrade, and unlike you. I don't see him as a tool. I remember the good things he has done for us, and I am not abandoning him. Goodbye. And don't expect to sleep in our rooms ever again. Asia spoken coldly as the duo soon left. Rias gritted her teeth in fury. How dare they defy her? She was going to make them regret. She then spoke. They will regret their decision, soon enough. Kaneko and Akino nodded, knowing that them supporting Issei will only get them in trouble. Scene change. Time skip brought to you by Chibi Arcadia. Issei, Chibi Zalgo. Issei and Chibi Concept. Issei hearing about this and beating the shit out of this Rias. 1 week later, Ko Academy AM. It has been a week since his expulsion, as Issei was seen lying on the ground. His clothes have been stinking of sweat. The first change was that Issei refused to peek, much to their friends' surprise and anger, at first. But when Asia explained the situation to them, they lost any and all respect they had for Rias, Akino and Kaneko. They did not pressure Issei for peeking ever again. However, this, instead of increasing and bettering his reputation, even tarnished it further. The reason being that rumors started to circulate days ago. These rumors were circulated due to Issei's expulsion being public information. As a result, these rumors got to the point where Issei was framed for raping the ORC, or even attacking the ORC, which caused the kendo duo to beat him to death, along with the rest of the ORC. Additionally, the attacks become on a daily basis. Just as he was about to sleep, someone ambushed him with the kendo stick, as Issei exclaimed, "Ow! What the hell? Get out of here, you rapist!" One of the kendo girls spoke with anger and hatred in her voice, as Issei responded, "But I did not even do anything, you lie! Now leave before we torture you just like yesterday." The other kendo girl spoke with anger in her voice, as Issei only rushed outside, with tears in his eyes. Almost everyone in Ko Academy hated him except for a few that knew the rumors were not true. Some of the kendo girls were laughing seeing this as Issei's fate. Eventually he reached the same park, where everything had started. He remembered on how he couldn't even go to his parents' home due to the rumors, as he did not know what they will speak. He feared that they may suffer because of him. He did not want to do anything with anyone, as a voice almost snapped him out of his daze. "Partner, look at you! Just how much has changed in the past few days. You were weak but you were stable, but now you are even worse. So you really think because of those bitches that you should give up on life itself?" Drake exclaimed angrily as Issei spoke. "So are you going to abandon me too, huh Drake?" Issei's tone was of no emotion. He felt like he was going to have no hope ever in his life. He felt like his life was snatched from him. Drake then spoke angrily. "Hell no! I would rather take my own life than to abandon you. Issei, forget about those bitches. You are the Red Dragon Emperor, you are my host, and I don't want to see you miserable. Don't think about the rumors, and just move on. I will train you and make sure you are ready. Right now it is you and me against the world. I won't let your weakness affect you in any way. Now come on, let's leave this place and come back after months." Drake's words brought a spark of motivation in Issei's eyes. "I guess you are right, but where do we even go?" Drake could still feel the hopelessness in his voice as he continued. "Issei, I know things will seem hopeless right now, but I promise you, it will get better for you. You have my word, I will make sure you get the better of your life. As for where we can go, you can head to the mountains, where we will train." Drake exclaimed with a serious tone. He was happy that Issei was going to change. As Issei nodded, "You're right, I can become better, I must become better. I will become better," Issei exclaimed with happiness, as Drake responded in kind. "That's the spirit, Issei, now come on, let's go." However, just as Issei was about to leave, someone struck him with a light spear at his stomach, bringing him to death's door. It was a fallen angel who flew off into the distance. Issei fell to the ground as blood started to pour from his body. "Is this really the end? Is this really the end?" Issei spoke with dread in his voice, as Drake tried to help him by sending healing energy to Issei as he exclaimed, "No! No! 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 Not again! Why does fate have to be so cruel with this boy?" Drake roared into the sky with anger, as someone approached him and spoke. "Don't worry, boy, your misery will soon come to an end. I will assure you, where you I am sending you will bring people that will make your life happy. Until we meet again, boy." The person was described to be a bearded person with a smile on his face. He seemed to be a bit of an old man. Before Issei and Drake could react, they were sent to this world, as the man had a smile as he spoke. "I hope you enjoy, kid." Before Issei and Drake could react, they were sent to this world, as the man had a smile as he spoke. "I hope you enjoy, kid." The man seemed to have pity for the boy due to the amount of injustices he received. He shook his head and turned his gaze towards the direction of Ko Academy. "You will have a very rude awakening, most of you, once he comes back. That is something that I have a feeling will happen." The man teleported out of there, leaving a pool of blood in his wake. Scene change. Unknown location. PM. Issei falls into what seems to be a laboratory as a man rushed to him. He was stated to be a person with light orange hair, and wore a lab coat. He then spoke with dread. "Someone get help, the man here is dying." The man picked up Issei's corpse and headed to a location where he would be safe. Unknown to anyone, this encounter will change a lot of things in both worlds. Years later, Issei looked around in Chaldea as a lot of things have happened. He sighed at how things have become. He was confused at first about what the organization does. But when he found out the organization's main goal is to save humanity from extinction, Issei accepted immediately. He joined and was one of the few candidates to become Chaldea's master. He was one of the top picks due to his sacred gear, as it was foreign to them and they wanted to know its capabilities. Additionally, they also offered to remove the evil pieces in his body, much to his happiness. But tragedy happened and Chaldea was bombed, ending up with majority of the candidates critically injured with only Issei remaining. In the end he became Chaldea's last master. Issei ended up dealing with all the singularities and defeated Goetia. He also dealt with the lost belts as well. Issei was able to accomplish many achievements during his time in Chaldea. During his time he continued training himself, as he didn't want to look weak and useless. He asked many servants for help in training. Issei was motivated, hardworking, and kept pushing himself to greater heights, which earned the respect and loyalty of his servants. His perversion was gone, and when his servants heard of how it gone, they held immense hatred for the Ko's students. Issei considers his servants as his family, as he bonded and fought alongside all of them in the singularities and earned their trust and loyalty. He even earned the trust of Gilgamesh Archer, because he saw the fire of his eyes and told him his reason for doing this. Issei told him about his betrayal and how he would get them back. Gilgamesh laughed and said that he would be glad to give him the assistance on showing those mongrels the power of the King of Heroes. When many servants heard about his past, they all wanted to help him, and some servants wanted to join on the beatdown they're going to give to his tormentors, especially the ORC. Additionally, Issei also became slightly similar to Gilgamesh as he looked down on devils, calling them filthy bats or filthy devils. During one of their training sessions, Issei felt a strange power in him and decided to figure what it is. He went and talked with Da Vinci and asked her to see what this is. They did, and she speculated it is similar to the class cards. They went and tested it out in the training room. It turns out, he had access to fuse with any of the servants he has a bond with. Issei takes the appearance of his servant, and the servant could use the boosted gear, and its all abilities, thus increasing the servant's mana level to an even stronger position. The upgraded boosted gear had no limitations, as a result due to its power evolution. It entered into a new variation which was basically a gauntlet with purplish-crimson gems along with crystalline claws and surroundings. It also seemed to have gems throughout its body penetrating through the gauntlet. After that, the smarter servants concluded that Issei can use up to servants before passing out, with the primary one being the one to be able to use the boosted gear. It's been a couple of months since that incident of Issei testing his new powers. Every day he would test his limit with those powers and train himself every day. Issei is right now with Tamamonome, the first servant he summoned ever, and his self-proclaimed wife. She was a fox woman, with pink hair. She often was seen hanging around Issei, who initially did not want to do anything with her, but eventually he relented, and she helped him cure his broken heart and helped him. But she was not the only one. Several others were also responsible for this, but we will get to them later. Darling, what do you think we should do for today? Issei looked at her and responded, maybe we can have a talk with the servants. We need to see what we can do next. That is also true. Tamamo would often get jealous like many of the other girls, with Issei's harem. But she would remain devoted to him. As a result, she was someone that many would wish be by their side. Issei saw his servants as family, but he was close to some particular ones, which comprised of Amiya, Archer, Gilgamesh, Castor, Vlad III, Diarmuid, Siu, Edmund, Karna, Arjuna, Siegfried, Charlemagne, and his harem, out of which Tamamo was comprised of. However, none would have a very well bond than his best friend and mentor figure Dr. Romani, aka Solomon, who had sacrificed himself in the final battle, allowing Issei to beat Goetia, once and for all. He remembered his final words. In mind and soul, I still remain a human being. Issei felt sad. Romani was the one that saved him from the light spear that was thrown by a fallen angel, and worked on his trust. Romani knew that he was having trust issues, and he was the first Issei trusted and was the one who suggested Issei to have faith in the other servants, and here he was, years ago. Romani played a major role in Issei's story. Tamamo kept her hand on Issei and spoke, it's alright, Issei all will miss the doctor. Yeah, anyways, Romani wouldn't want us to be sad. Issei nodded as he spoke. You are right on that one. Let's go, the others are waiting for us. Issei nodded, as suddenly a tremor was caused in this place which made the duo stagger, with someone rushing towards Issei. The man was Siegfried, who was described to be a tall man with silver-gray hair. His body was encased in radiant silver-woven plate armor. He carries his phantasmal great sword Ba Meng on his back. His exposing skin was dyed brown with the blood of a dragon. That skin was composed of dragon scales that wouldn't be wounded by any blade or spell, all except for a single part in the middle of his back. His tall stature, slender body and tan-colored skin are proof of him having been soaked in the blood of a dragon. Siegfried, what's going on? Issei asked with worry as Siegfried responded. Siegfried, what's going on? Issei asked with worry as Siegfried responded. I don't know. I presumed you would be the one to know. Do you know who is responsible for this? The boosted gear came to life and Drake spoke. I think this is either Da Vinci's doing. Her experiments must have gone crazy. Issei sighed. This is not the first time this has happened. Tamamo then spoke. We must act. Tamamo wanted to continue. However, all of a sudden the rumbling reduced. Issei was worried for his servants and hoped they would be all right. His link was still present, meaning they are fine, but he would have to check on them to make sure they are actually fine. Well, I guess that does it. Let's head to her lab to make sure she did not do anything. Issei was unable to finish when suddenly someone came rushing to him. This was Leonardo da Vinci. She was described to be an ideal beauty. Master, you might want to check this out. Issei looked at what da Vinci had brought him. As he became completely pale, he then spoke with horror. Master, you might want to check this out. Issei looked at what da Vinci had brought him. As he became completely pale, he then spoke with horror. No way. Issei looked at Tamamo and spoke. This is my home world. I recognize the place. This is Ko Academy. Ko, Master? The same place that they are here? Siegfried spoke with anger, as Issei nodded in response. I am concerned about my parents. I couldn't face them because of those cursed rumors. But now Ramani asked me to talk to them. You should talk to them, darling. Plus I have a feeling that the filthy bat would try to go after your parents. Tamamo spoke to Issei, as he nodded as he growled in anger. Every servant hated the Gremry peerage, excluding Kiba and Asia. This was the worst in those that were extremely close to Issei. Master, we should head there as soon as possible. Issei nodded to Tamamo's advice as he nodded. He needed to head there as soon as possible. Scene change. Hayata residence, Kur Town, 7 p.m. Issei was reaching his home when he felt a sudden surge of power. This was demonic energy, as Issei widened his face in horror. Master, this is demonic energy. You were right. This belongs to that whore of the Gremry family. Da Vinci warned Issei, as he gritted his teeth in fury as he rushed inside to see where his parents and Asia were. Meanwhile, Rias attacking his parents with her power of destruction. Rias failed to notice him due to her being distracted. It's been 2 months since he has gone. You better tell me where Issei Hayata is, or else? Goro did not know where his son is. He heard rumors about him raping the ORC, but that was not the case. He refused to believe it without much proof, with Mickey and another also thinking the same. He was on the ground, battered and bruised. Asia was knocked out cold, while Mickey was protecting the two. Goro spoke with anger in his voice. We have no clue. And how dare you barge into our house and harm Asia? We gave you a place to stay and this is how you treat us. Goro exclaimed with anger, for Rias to scoff. Being the spoiled girl she is, she could care less on what they think of her. They are lowly humans, that's it. It was actually easy to manipulate the situation, and with the rumors spreading, your son got exactly what he deserves. That pervert was so easily to manipulate. Goro growled as he had an idea on what Rias had done. There was a chance that she had spread those rumors about her son. He wanted to smack her but was powerless to do so. Now die. Rias was ready to attack his parents, only for someone to punch her so hard that her jaw was sent flying. She was sent a few meters back and crashed into a nearby wall, almost denting it. Goro and Mickey looked in shock. It was Issei that had returned. As Issei glared at Rias, who was dazed by who had attacked her, he turned around to see his parents having tears in their eyes, as they rushed to embrace him while shouting, Issei! The Hayata couple were happy that their son had returned. Issei returned the hug as he spoke. It's okay, Mom and Daddy have returned. They both look at Issei with tears in their eyes, as he soon turned his gaze to Rias, who was recovering, as he had spoke seriously. Mom, Dad, you need to head inside my room, take Asia with you and lock the room. Don't open till you hear my voice. Issei's words made Mickey protest as she responded, but we can't leave you alone, and Issei cuts her off and speaks. I will explain everything later, but for now, I want the two of you to remain safe. Along with Asia I will deal with her personally. Mickey wanted to protest, but Goro understood this. He was able to send Rias flying with one punch, and he had returned when Issei's parents were in danger, and he knew that he will keep them safe. Very well, Issei, we shall go. Mickey responded, but Goro. A serious look from Goro made Mickey nod. As she acted quickly, Rias tried to attack them only for Issei to block with a magic circle. As he gave Rias a shivering glare, he waited for his parents to leave with Asia, as he angrily spoke. You bitch! You have some nerve of entering my house and attacking my parents. Issei spoke while deciding to fuse with her. He was going to make her regret every attacking her parents. You really think you stand a chance against me? Issei, you couldn't beat Riser without cheating, and here you are. Do you think you have a chance against me? Rias spoke while releasing her aura, but Issei only remained calm. He was seething, but he vowed to not let his anger get the best of him. He learnt this lesson while training under his servants. Oh, I will show you I am not the same boy you once betrayed, Issei growled as he spoke coldly. Ready for this, scat hack? You bet, master. Let's teach this red-haired bitch a lesson she won't forget. Issei started to glow, as a bright light appears in front of him, as he transforms into Scat Hack, who was described to an extremely beautiful woman. She has long purple hair and red eyes, and wears a full-body outfit that highlights her curvaceous body, with metallic shoulder pads. She is carrying a second gi bald alternative, and wears a black veil over her head and short cloak over her shoulders, connected by the shoulder pads. So, you really have transformed into a girl. You really, Rias could complete as Issei/Scat Hack closed the distance between them, as she stabbed her with the spear, making her cough up blood, as the two spoke with a mocking tone. Is that the best you have got, Rias Homori? Issei/Scat Hack spoke with a mocking tone, causing her to get angry. However, before she could react, she was sent flying by Issei/Scat Hack, using her spear. Issei/Scat Hack's goal was to get her outside of his house. Issei/Scat Hack worked quickly as she followed it up with a kick. Issei had left the door open due to fear of what would happen to his parents. Rias was sent to the doorstep, with her wound in her stomach as she shouted with fury. Why you? Issei/Scat Hack did not let her react as red light started to gather the spear and throw it, sending her flying outside the house, through the wound she was hit with. Issei/Scat Hack decided to not use Noble Phantasm since that would kill this weak devil. Rias was sent crashing all the way to Ko Academy as a dent in the building wall was shown. She was out cold, and her body was bleeding and had several scars on it. The spear returned back to Issei/Scat Hack, who reverted back to his ordinary state. That bitch, Issei growled. She had the nerve to harm, and even try to kill his parents. He rushed to the room where Issei instructed them to lock themselves with Asia, as he knocked on the door and called them out. Mom, Dad! It's me! Issei's words made his parents open the door, as Goro asked, Is she gone? Yes, and she won't be bothering us for a while. Are you two okay? The duo nodded, as Goro explained. Asia is also fine, Issei. The woman Rias was quiet about the matter, and Asia told us about it. We immediately kicked her out, with your big sister being the one to do so. That was until today, where she barged in and attacked us. But what happened? Why did she attack us? Goro asked Issei, to which Issei wanted to respond, but Mickey asked, Worst of all, where were you? 2 months you never kept any contact with us, or even told us anything. What happened to you? Or where you went? Nobody knows, even your older sister was looking for you, Mickey retorted as Issei widened his eyes and spoke. Marine is here? Yes, she is, but what happened to you? You have a lot to answer to, Mickey exclaimed with tears in her eyes. As Issei looked down and spoke. Sit down, you all might want to hear this. Issei explained everything, not hiding anything from them in any manner, as he revealed what he had done, and where he had gone and what he was doing. To prove it further, he fused with Siegfried, showing he was not lying, and even showed the boosted gear as further proof. The Hayata couple was shocked by this revelation, their son being a hero that saved humanity in another world, and defeated a being like Goishia made them proud. But they had the biggest question: why did Issei not show up to their house before going to Chaldea? Issei soon explained that as well. "'Cause Mom, Dad, the rumors, I did not want to show myself because people tortured and harassed me for some false rumors. I feared that you may hate me. Because of those rumors, that is why I remained outside, sleeping on park benches, and not bathing. That was until I transported to Chaldea." Issei, "Those were rumors. We refused to believe them until there was proof, and even then, we wouldn't until we hear it from you and we know. You may be a pervert, but you wouldn't fall that far to do such heinous actions." Goro spoke with tears in his eyes. He hated Rias and the co-students for causing such problems. He wanted to personally deal with them. But what can a human do against a high-class devil? "Your dad is right, you are our son, that is the end of it. We know you won't do such heinous actions, you aren't the type to do so." Issei teared up as he hugged his parents, who returned the hug back. He was always welcome in his house. The Hayate couple hated what Rias had done to him by kicking him out of the ORC and using him as a toy, with Issei regretting making his parents worry, as they soon split up after some time. "And this Tamamo, can we meet her? We can meet them later, on a holiday, and she is not the only one. Many servants are dating me, and have agreed to set up a harem." Goro only laughed heartily in response. "That's my boy making a harem, with the people you love." Miki responded by smacking her husband's head, as she spoke. Now don't get ahead of yourself." Miki turned to Issei and spoke, "And Issei, you better take care of those girls, right?" Miki gave a sinister smile which made Issei shudder. His mother's smile was even more scarier than Goishia. He would rather have himself fighting the beast than dealing with his mother's wrath. He nodded in understanding as someone else also rushed inside, as this was revealed to be Mari. Mari was the woman who Issei called was Issei's older sister. She was a beautiful brown-haired woman with long hair and brown eyes. She wore a purple sweater and white dress, along with purple shoes. "Mom, Dad, are you dash?" Mari couldn't complete when she saw her younger brother come back. "Mom, Dad, are you dash?" Mari couldn't complete when she saw her younger brother come back. She had tears in her eyes and did not hesitate to rush towards Issei and gave him a bone-crushing hug. "Ouch, ouch, ouch, that hurts, Mari, nay." Mari cried onto her brother. She was worried sick for him, as Asia soon woke up as she spoke. "And Mom, Dad, what happened? Asia-chan." Both the Hayate couple looked to see Asia awake as she turned to see Issei was back. She herself had tears in her eyes, as the nun did not hesitate to embrace Issei as well. Both the girls gave Issei a massive hug as Issei soon relented into the hug as well. The two really missed Issei a lot. Issei hugged the two girls. As they were crying, the girls missed Issei a lot. This lasted for a moment, as Mari asked, "Where were you when I returned home? I was told you went missing. So what happened?" Mari spoke as Issei decided to explain everything to the girls yet again, as they both widened their eyes. As Mari growled, she wanted to make Rias pay for what they had done to her parents. "That Gremry I will." Issei stopped her and spoke, "I will deal with her, Mari, nay, you can count on it." Mari looked at her brother for a moment, as she turned to him and nodded in response. "As she speaks, make it painful." "But how did you deal with Rias? Last I checked, you did not have a sacred gear, right?" Mari only smiled, as only Asia was aware of this, as she revealed two gauntlets and spoke. "I am the wielder of two Longinus, being Innovate Clear and Telos Karma. Gremry tried to deal with me, but she was powerless against Mesri. I had to hide this from you, Mom, Dad." "It's fine, Mari-chan. We know you had a good reason, like Issei and Asia-chan as well." Goro spoke with an understanding tone. As he spoke, "At the very least we all are together, that is all. Goro is right, we are just happy that our family is back, together." Miki spoke with a smile, as Issei nodded, as suddenly Miki grunted in pain. "Mom/Miki." Issei, Mari, Asia and Goro called out Miki as Miki spoke. "I am fine, just my arm is a bit injured." "Don't worry, Mom, you can rest," Issei spoke, as Miki asked, "But who will cook for us?" "I will. In my 2 years I learned how to cook from a certain Emmy. You can leave that to me." Miki and the others nodded in understanding as they decided to have a normal dinner. Issei fixed the house as well. They were just happy that their family had returned. Scene change. Timeskip brought to you by Chibi Gilgamesh torturing the Chibi ORC for fun as Chibi Mari watches with a grin. The next day, Co-Academy AM, Issei and Asia had reached Co-Academy as Issei vowed to make the Kendo Club pay. The so-called protectors will teach them a lesson. Asia shook her head as she coldly spoke. No, Issei. I am not stopping you. I am going to enjoy making them suffer, although I am waiting for the day I get my pieces removed from my body. Very well. Issei spoke as the duo entered inside. While they did, several glared at Issei, making mocking comments about him, whom Issei had ignored. They headed inside, as someone was glaring at them. This was Rias, who still had her wounds. She hated Issei even more now. She already hated him as she had to deal with questioning on Issei's absence, and some were starting to ponder that she was responsible for driving her away. If that happened, she would lose everything. I will make sure you suffer, Issei Haidu. Rias muttered as she headed to her class. She contacted Akino and Kaneko, such that she could work together with them to deal with Issei. However, this would be her undoing, as Issei already had plans to make her suffer as well. Issei walked into his classroom where he was immediately greeted by Matsuda, Motohama and Kiba, who were all happy for his return. However, not many were happy. Many hated his return since the rumors only saw him as a rapist and nothing more, nothing less. Issei could care less on what these idiots think of him. So Issei, where were you for 2 months? Matsuda asked with a smile. The perverted duo were no longer perverts, as they changed in the past 2 months. They became ruthless to anyone that dared badmouth Issei. Given that Matsuda was a jock, he was easily able to manhandle most of the student body, excluding the supernatural ones, like it was nothing. As for Motohama, he became one of the most smartest students in all of Co-Academy. Channeling his intelligence onto other stuff, he got good grades and excelled in almost every school subject there is. Motohama was no better. He would often mock and chastise anyone that even talked badly about Issei by mocking them, by exploiting and locating their weaknesses. However, even with his intelligence, he was still unable to find who was responsible for the rumors to begin with. While Kiba, he detested Rias to the point of completely refusing her commands, often avoiding her whenever he could. When he heard Issei remove his pawn pieces from Asia, he asked him to do so, which Issei accepted. Of course, this meeting was kept in secret since he would reveal the supernatural to Matsuda and Motohama when he brings them all to Chaldea. I have been on a journey to fix my state. Rest assured I will tell you everything when the time is right. Cause it's a long story, and trust me you will enjoy it. Matsuda and Motohama nodded, as suddenly the bell started to ring. He then spoke. I take it you two are going to peep? Both boys denied it and responded, no, we are done with that, and honestly those whores aren't even worth peeping. Matsuda spoke while giving a glance to the kendo duo, which surprised Issei completely. Yep, and so much has been wasted by peeping. I would rather not peep on these worthless bitches ever again. Motohama spoke with annoyance as he added, I would rather watch porn or read hentai than see these girls not worth the effort and beatings. You got that one right, they really are bitches, aren't they? The boys nodded in agreement, as they pondered on what they should do next. Unbeknownst to them, Kaneko was keeping tabs on Issei whenever she could. She saw Rias' state, and when it was Issei that did it, she vowed to make him suffer for his actions. Scene change. Issei was roaming outside. He wanted to get some fresh air, as suddenly someone attacked with a kendo stick only for Issei to grab it and crush it with his bare hands, much to the girl's shock. He followed it up with a kick aimed at her stomach, sending her flying towards a tree, knocking her out cold. He soon looked around and saw several more kendo students surrounding him, led by Keitase and Murayama, the two girls that were primarily responsible in beating him up due to the spread rumors. Seems like the rapist knows how to fight. Girls, get him. The girls immediately charged at him alongside Keitase and Murayama as Issei quickly got into his combat stance. He immediately dodged a strike from one girl. He followed it up with a kick, sending her flying. Another girl tried to strike from behind only for Issei to grab the girl's hand, twist it, and send her on the ground. He soon followed it with a kick to another girl's chin, breaking her face, as her nose was broken, sending her flying towards a small distance, knocking her out cold. One girl tried to strike him multiple times, with him dodging with relative ease. Artoria's training made sure he was ready for anything, as he can easily evade and block swings. As the another charged from him at the behind, he grabbed the girl by her head and slammed her into another, as it knocked the two out cold. 3 more girls charged at him as Issei picked up a shurnai from one of the knocked-out girls as he blocked their stances with relative ease, much to their horror. He overpowered them by pushing them back and followed it up with a kick aimed at one of their chins, almost breaking it. Another was hit multiple times with the kendo stick as Issei showed no mercy. The girl was struck multiple times, causing her to drop her sword and remain defenseless, as Issei grinned. These girls were barely a challenge in his eyes. The third one made the mistake of striking from the lower end, only for Issei to overpower the girl by crushing the shurnai and sending a strike, causing the girl to be sent flying over a wall, knocking her out cold. Now that only leaves you 2. Issei spoke with a mocking grin, as he noticed that no one was watching him, except for a certain someone that was hiding in the bushes. He decided to not deal with her just yet. You bastard, not only do you have the gall to attack us, but you even rape our Wani Samus, how dare dash? Issei spoke with a mocking tone. Blah blah blah, you 2 girls must be their vagina suckers if you think they are of any values to anyone. Honestly, they just flaunt their beauty around, causing simps like you to flock around them, like moths to a fire. Issei then continued, angering the 2 girls. Worst, like seriously, who the likes that midget Kaneko? That small cunt doesn't even have a likable trait. She is too dull for even someone to like her. This means y'all are lilicons who like little girls. Absolutely disgusting. Issei spoke with a mocking tone as he continued. Then we have Akino, the sadistic thunder thought. Like even I saw that whore as a beautiful, but in reality, she is nothing but a piece of shit. The girls couldn't take it anymore, as they charged at Issei with their shinace, as they aimed for a head strike, only for Issei to take his shurnai and block them with his sword aimed in a defensive position above his head. Before the girls could react, Issei gave a staggering kick to Murayama's gut, making her cough up saliva as she was sent flying. Kate was horrified as Issei did not give her a chance, as he overpowered her with his stronger strength, and he pinned her sword to the ground. He soon used his free hand to grab Murayama by the face and slam her to the ground. Not giving the girl a chance to recover, he stomped on her ribcage, making her cough up. The blow was strong enough to knock her out cold. How pathetic, I expected you to survive some more. Issei twirled his shurnai and looked towards Murayama, who was completely shivering in fear. He started walking, which soon turned into running, as Murayama tried to flee, only for Issei to strike her in the head, causing her a mild concussion. She was in a complete daze as she dropped her shurnai. She held her head in pain as Issei soon gave a strike aimed at her chest using his shurnai, sending her flying. She was soon knocked unconscious as the last look Murayama had was a look of fear. Not going to lie, this was actually disappointing. Issei was disappointed. These so-called protectors barely put up a proper fight against him. He could have used his boosted gear or any of his servants, who were more than happy to do so, but he did not see the point of it. They were too weak to even lay a finger on him. However, he would use the servants in his fight against Rias Gremory and her 3 peerage, the student council, and even the devils, if they continued to be a problem. He did not know how Surzex was, but if he becomes a problem, he can deal with him. He even has the right servants to deal with him accordingly. A certain mother beast would gladly put the Crimson Satan in his place. He dropped his shurnai and stomped on it, breaking it into wooden chunks as someone spoke inside of his head. Master, that cat is spying on you. Issei nodded as he thought, I know, Artoria, speaking of which, ready to shine. It would be my pleasure to do so. Meanwhile, in the bushes, Kaneko watched with utter shock and horror upon seeing on how quickly Issei dismantled and destroyed the kendo club without any hesitation or mercy. He brutally tormented each of the girls until they were barely alive or completely knocked out. She had to report this to Rias. I need to inform this to President. That pervert is becoming an even bigger problem. Kaneko tried to leave, only for Issei to show up. As he spoke, I'm afraid I can't let you do that, cat. Kaneko flinched upon this. How did he know her secret? How did he know the truth? He needed to be dealt with as soon as possible. Kaneko quickly landed a punch, only for Issei to block it. As he smirked, Kaneko tried to hit again, only for Issei to kick her really hard in the chest, making her cough up blood. She held it with her free hand in pain, as Issei did not stop there. He grabbed her by the hand and kept slamming her to the ground over and over again. A/N. I don't own this GIF or Avengers. A/N. I don't own this GIF or Avengers. Kaneko was completely bruised and critically wounded. She had a look of fear and horror. He grabbed her by the head and spoke coldly. Your rook piece, it enhances your strength, right? Kaneko couldn't speak as she feared on what Issei will do next. He was not the same pervert that she thought he once was. He was ready to torment and torture her with the Red Dragon Emperor speaking. But without it, you are nothing but a weakling. You don't even use the senjutsu. Why don't you use it against me? I don't know, but I don't care either. You have even more power and yet, you are too much of a weakling to even think of using it against me. Issei looked at her, as she was hyperventilating and crying. He did not understand why she would even cry, but he did not care for her either. It would have been a stupid reason on why she was powerless to stop him. Honestly, it is pathetic. You hated me for my perversion and now look at you powerless to stop me. So tell me, you filthy bat, how does it feel? Kaneko couldn't stop crying out of fear. As Issei soon slammed her to the ground, causing her to have a concussion. She was barely alive as Issei put his foot on her face. As he spoke coldly. You are nothing but a pathetic piece of crap, Kaneko Tuju. Issei soon decided to deal with the other two stooges that were in the occult research club as he telepathically spoke to Artoria, knowing she would be more than happy to lay the beat down on the girls. Let's go, Artoria. Scene change. Occult Research Club, PM. Aquino and Rias were waiting for Kaneko to report. However, someone else showed up. As this was revealed to be Issei, he held a beaten and battered up Kaneko Tuju, who spoke with horror. President, please run. Inform Lord Surzex about Kaneko was unable to complete as Issei threw her at very high speeds towards a wall, knocking her out cold. She had multiple wounds and concussions. You just don't learn, do you? Gremry Issei spoke with a growl, as Aquino was ready to shock him. But Issei did not give a moment, as he suddenly merged with Artoria Pendragon, which was its saber variant. Artoria, saber, was described to be a young woman in her early mid-teens with a slender physique, soft skin, and green eyes. She has finely textured blonde hair that seems as if sprinkled with gold dust. She normally wears shining armor with an old-style dress, made from old-fashioned blue cloth, underneath. She had a matching cloak and a crown as well. The holy energy emanating from Issei/Artoria was astounding as Rias and Aquino were cringing seeing on how strong the holy energy that was. As Issei/Artoria spoke with a cold tone. The holy energy emanating from Issei/Artoria was astounding as Rias and Aquino were cringing seeing on how strong the holy energy that was. As Issei/Artoria spoke with a cold tone. Now do you see, I know what you did to Master, and for that your only sentence is suffering. Aquino used her holy lightning to attack Issei/Artoria, who only deflected it with her sword. Before she could react, Issei/Artoria blitzed towards Aquino, and stabbed her in the gut, making her cough up blood. Ha! Aquino screamed in pain, as the wound seared even more due to the sword Issei/Artoria stabbing her with the sword. Issei/Artoria only looked at her with complete and utter disdain, before she jumped backwards. With the wound in such a condition, she looked towards Issei/Artoria with pure anger and fear. You little Issei/Artoria only brought the blade closer, as Aquino once again unleashed a surge of several magic circles, unleashing a barrage of several elemental attacks, only for Issei/Artoria to dodge every last one of them. She noted that the speed of the attacks were beyond pathetic, as Issei/Artoria spoke. Is that all? Issei/Artoria's Excalibur started to glow a slight shade as she dashed towards Aquino, who desperately employs every last circle at her aid, with Rias trying to assist her in taking down, using her power of destruction. This time, Issei/Artoria stabbed her in the stomach as the wound seared even more. It was a miracle that she survived a wound from the Excalibur once, but this time, she was not lucky. She soon fell down to the ground. One down, Issei/Artoria looked at Rias, who was generating her power of destruction as she threw her attack at them, causing a dust explosion, as Rias spoke with a mocking tone. It seems like you are all too weak, Issei. The dust settled down, revealing Issei/Artoria barely affected. She grinned looking at her, as she spoke. Let's see if you are powerful enough to survive this. Issei/Artoria's Excalibur glowed an even brighter shade. As he decided to put Rias in her place, he vowed to make her suffer for everything she had done. Issei/Artoria started to chant the noble phantasm. She held back, since more power would end up killing her. This light is the planet's hope. proof of the life that illuminates this world. Let us end this. Excalibur. The blade was glowing a bright golden color. As it started to glow a bright holy, the blade glowed into a giant golden color light as he unleashed onto them. Rias tried to escape, but she was obliterated along with the part of the building where Rias was on, unleashing a huge holy stream of light that was headed towards the upward location. Rias was barely alive. Her full body was completely blackened due to the immense amount of holy light. It was a miracle she survived, even after Issei held back the full power, as it would kill her, and killing her would be mercy. Even then she was unable to take a base-level noble phantasm, even after the magic being reduced to such an extent. You have no honor or power of a king, you are a disgrace to all kings. Artoria/Issei spoke coldly, as they walked away as the light glowed revealing to Issei. He mentally thanked Artoria as he spoke. Thanks, Artoria. Artoria responded to Issei mentally. No need to thank me, it is the least I could do for you. Yep, although, now we have to deal with the aftermath of it. Artoria responded with a smile. You are right on that one, Master. But I believe you can handle it. You have servants powerful enough to help you, including Gildemshan. Don't forget, us servants can also use your gear during the fusion. You are right on that one. Issei cut off the mental link. Artoria was the second woman that is in his harem. She often would have small scuffles with Tamamo to spend alone time with Issei, as the latter sighs. Dealing with the harem of servants, with some of them being very powerful, can be taxing. He can only curse his E-rank luck for this situation. A few hours later, Issei was watching the people surround the occult research club room, as many had a look of horror seeing the state of Rias, Aquino and Kaneko. Their battered and bruised states horrified many, with the student council approaching it, as Sona shouted to everyone. Sona was a bespectacled young woman with a slim figure, black hair styled in a short bob cut, and violet eyes. She wore Co-Academy uniform. Move aside, everyone! Sona shouted as she saw the burns and scars on Rias's body. She became pale upon seeing this. This was the work of no ordinary magic. This was holy magic, and not just regular holy magic. Very strong holy magic belonging to that of archangels. No way. Is an archangel here? Did Rias do something to provoke him? Her? Sona spoke with fear, although her approach was not far off. She was extremely wrong about two things. One, that was not any archangel's doing, and two, it was the doing of a holy sword, a sword that was long destroyed in this world. Another person soon joined in the procedure. This was Tsubaki Shinra. She was described to be a young bespectacled woman with long straight black hair that extends all the way down to her knees, with split bangs and heterochromic eyes, with a violet left eye and a light brown right eye. President, the crowd is gathering. I have asked the others in the council to disperse them, so that is not a problem. Sona nodded, as she looked at the bodies of the ORC who were critically damaged, and spoke. Tsubaki, contact my older sister, and get me some phoenix tears. Someone needs to answer for what has happened. President, I have a theory on who did this. Tsubaki spoke, to which Sona looked at her for a moment, and responded. Who? Tsubaki? Tsubaki remembered the reports on how he mercilessly trashed the Kendo club. She knew it was only a matter of when he fights back. She spoke with a sigh. Issei Hayadu. Sona's eyes widened as she spoke with horror. There was no way Issei of all people would do this, even if he was kicked out from the occult research club. She needed to at least talk to him. No way. Sona spoke. I refuse to believe this to be true. Issei is not the person to do this. He may have held some anger towards Rias for kicking her out, but this, I don't think so. And the wounds, that is caused by some holy magic, very strong holy magic. There is no way Issei can do this. And even if he is a pervert, he is not the type to torture or even torment people. Tsubaki took this into account and responded, that may be true. But let's not forget he trashed the Kendo club. You saw their conditions when one of the members recovered, right? Sona nodded in understanding. The report was biased, with the member lying obviously to save her skin. But Sona knew that she was lying due to the Kendo club attacking Issei, majorly due to the rumors. All I am saying is, let's ask him. If he really did it, then we have to know why. And what drove him to do this? Tsubaki suggested, as Sona looked at her for a moment and nodded. She had questions of her own. Very well, let's talk to him. Scene change. Issei and Asia were packing up for the day, as they could see that Matsuda and Motohama had already left. Issei had earlier told Asia and Kiba of the situation, and they couldn't blame Issei for being racist towards the devils. They asked if he would be racist towards them, but he assured that he won't be hateful towards them. He can't be towards Asia and Kiba. They were joined by Kiba as they were having a talk. So Issei, which servant are you going to ask to remove our pieces? Asia asked, being well aware of the Chaldean servants that were present. She met Issei Archer yesterday, and she wondered who else of the servants she was going to meet. I was going to ask BB and Da Vinci to do it. You guys don't mind, do you? Kiba shook his head and spoke. None. Will we meet them? Soon. Right now they are busy with working on dealing with the stray devils populating this area, like there are a lot of them, which did catch me off guard. Issei spoke with a sigh. Seems like Rias isn't even doing her job properly. So which servants have you asked to deal with this problem? Kiba asked with a disappointed sigh as Issei responded. Jean Dark, Ruler, Jean Dark, Alter, and Jean Dark, Berserker. Those three are powerful enough to deal with the devils. Their holy presence should be capable enough to do so. Issei spoke, to which the duo nodded. Master! Issei recognized the voice in his mind, as Asia and Kiba looked at Issei with concern as he spoke. Yes, Arthur? I sense my blade right outside. I sense Excalibur outside. Issei became wide-eyed, as he looked at outside to see Sona meeting up with two people. They were in church robes as Issei narrowed his gaze. Even Asia and Kiba followed suit, with Kiba becoming concerned as he spoke to Issei. Exorcists? Kiba asked, to which Issei pondered. What are they doing here? I don't know, but I would suggest to be careful. Asia herself was on the edge due to her devil nature, along with Kiba, who seemed to be glaring at the sword, as Issei asked Kiba, May I ask why you are looking at those swords in such a way? I would rather not disclose about my past. Issei, it is not pretty. Kiba spoke with a glare as Arthur responded mentally. He seems to hate the sword. Why does he hate Excalibur? Master, why does your friend hate Excalibur? Issei did not know how to answer as Arthur responded. Judging by your cluelessness, I don't think you know. Yes, Arthur, he never disclosed about his past. I have a feeling that something bad happened in his past which involves the Excalibur. But I have no clue about it. Arthur thought for a moment and telepathically responded. I have an idea. Let the boy meet me. If you can get his past, even better. But the sword, it shouldn't be one to blame, but the ones responsible to wield it. I doubt the wielder of the Excalibur would do an injustice. Something is amiss about this whole situation. Very well, Arthur. Very well. Issei cuts off the link, as he asks. Kiba turns to meet Issei as he speaks. There's someone in Chaldea that would like to have a word with you. Once we know what they are here for, we can do so, and trust me, he can help you. Kiba was about to retort, however Issei beat him to it. You helped me at my lowest, so please let me or us help you. The servants are willing to help you. I am not Rias, who only decided to save you. I will help you with your problems. Just open up to me. Kiba wanted to decline, but felt like it won't do any good since he couldn't return to Rias after her defiance. He also knew Issei would remove his pieces as well, making her no longer serve her anymore. In a way, it is a win for him. However, he just couldn't accept it yet. Issei, I will give an answer when I am ready. Issei could only give a nod. He would ask one of the Hassans to keep a watch on him, if he does get attacked. He sensed his mental state is not right. Scene change. Outside Haida residence, PM. Issei and Asia were walking towards their home, when they were greeted by Shiro Amiya Archer. Amiya Archer has short hair with the exception of being white and swept backwards, gray eyes and tan skin color. He wears body armor consisting of a black tight and sleeveless shirt with silver accents that outline his muscles and a metal plate on his collar, along with black pants that have two black straps on his thighs, and another two strapped around his shins separate from each other. He wears black metal-plated shoes, which appear to be attached to his trousers. His signature red coat is a type of holy shroud, which were actually two separate sleeves connected by a metal plate at the back which covered his arms and was cut off, showing his upper torso and midriff, and had a separate red open skirt, which ended above his shins with the top fashioned and tied with an age-maki knot, covered by a silver metal plate. His signature red coat is a type of holy shroud, which were actually two separate sleeves connected by a metal plate at the back which covered his arms and was cut off, showing his upper torso and midriff, and had a separate red open skirt which he, glad you could make it, we have some guests at our place. Amiya Archer spoke with a smile as Issei spoke. Who were those guests? They were seeming to wear church robes. The holy magic in their swords are present, but Mari is inside making sure your mother is fine from what you have informed of me. They wouldn't cross with the wielder of Innovate Clear and tell us karma. Issei nodded as he spoke. Those church people were here in school as well, talking to Citria Mia, Archer. Became concerned as Asia looked inside in worry. Furthermore, Arthur contacted me this morning, told me that those 2 swords that they are holding were Excalibur. But how can this be? The only ones that hold that are Amiya, Archer, spoke as Issei ended the statement, Artoria and Arthur. We will only get our answers once we head inside, Asia responded as the trio headed inside where Mickey spoke, Issei, Amiya, Asia. Look who has arrived. The first is a beautiful young woman with violet eyes. She has long chestnut hair that is usually tied into twin tails, each held with a blue scrunch. The second was a beautiful young woman with chin-length blue hair with a dyed green fringe on the right side and brown eyes. Who is she? Amiya, Archer asked to Issei as he spoke. I am unable to recollect. Mao Issei-kun, don't you remember B? I am Irina Shidu, don't you remember me? Issei spoke, as he added, Shidu, I thought you were a boy. I see, Issei. So this friend of yours was once a cross-dresser? Irina pouted upon Amiya, Archer, and Issei's words how to respond as Mickey retorted with an annoyed tone, both of you stop it, that is kind of rude. No, it's fine, Mickey-san, I was that type before. I did act like a boy back then. Anyways, it was nice to see you again, Issei. By the way, where is Mari Ne-san? Right here, Irina. Mari soon came inside. She had a smile looking at a close friend of Issei that had returned after such a long time. She then spoke, seems like you have been quite busy, haven't you? Slaughtering devils, I presume? The 2 flinched upon this, as Mari chuckled in response. Just kidding. Mari went towards her brother and spoke with a hushed tone. I see. I don't trust that blue-haired girl. She is surely going to cause some problems. You think so too, Marine? Yeah, I will deal with her. Accordingly, if she even dares harm my family, Issei muttered to Mari, who nodded as she looked at the girls. As the sibling duo looked towards the girls. As Irina had spoken, I will be taking my leave. Mickey nodded as Issei spoke. Mom, mind if I speak to the 2 personally? Mickey looked at Issei's gaze as she nodded, wondering what he meant, as she could only nod. Scene change. Issei, Amiya, Mari, Zenobia and Irina were present. Asia was sent inside as Issei did not know how they would react to see an excommunicated nun here. He did not want to risk the 2 from attacking her, including the blue-haired woman. They were all outside the house, as Issei then spoke. All right then, tell me, what are the 2 of you doing here? Issei spoke with utter seriousness. As the 2 girls looked at him, Zenobia responded to him coldly. I don't think I need to tell you anything, Hayadu. Mari was about to give her a piece of her mind, but Issei stopped her and spoke. You have no choice. I have taken a solemn oath to protect humanity, so we can either be civil, or I can find my information through other means. Zenobia looked at him for a moment. As Irina spoke, Issei, do you know about the supernatural? If so, how much? Long enough to be wary of it. The supernatural of this town is not to be trusted. They are nothing but a bunch of filthy bats. Issei spoke coldly and with utter disdain, as Mari sighed, knowing how xenophobic her brother had become towards devils, while Amiya, Archer, could only look with worry at how much his master hated the devil kind due to Rias Gremry and her peerage. He could only hope that Issei does not hate all devils. Issei, do you hate the devils here? Issei nodded as he spoke. Hate is not the right word for it. I detest them, Irina. I detest them for making my life miserable, especially Rias Hormori herself. Irina and Zenobia looked at each other, the latter wondering on why Issei hated the devil kind so much. Mari then walked forward and explained. I will put it in short. Mari explained on Issei's hatred for the devils, to the point he is utterly racist to any of the devils that would even dare cross against him. His hatred extended the most to Rias Gremry and her peerage, and only a select few were spared from his racism, that being primarily Yudo Kiba and Asia Argento. Needless to say, Irina and Zenobia were not happy. Irina was the angriest at what Rias had done. She then angrily spoke, that bitch. I am going to destroy her completely. Honestly, we were going to meet and discuss with them on what comes next and how to deal with this whole situation, but now I doubt that is going to work. Zenobia spoke with concern. with what happened with Issei, even she does not trust the devils anymore. Mari then suggested, "Then why don't we all settle down and talk about it? Come with us inside Issei's room." Mari suggested as she continued, "Here, there may be some prying eyes, we shouldn't even be talking here." The girls nodded, seeing that they have no choice in the matter. They all headed inside the residence, as Issei led them to their room. They all settled down, as Issei sat on the chair and asked, "Yes? Shall we begin?" "Right, so just recently, the church has lost its Excaliburs and we have been assigned to handle and locate them. 3 of the Excaliburs have been stolen, and they are with the fallen angel Cadre Cocabil." Amiya Archer adds his own words, "I see, so that means, from what I can presume, you are here to retrieve them?" "Yes, we are, and we will even die. We would rather not let those blades fall into fallen hands." Amiya Archer nodded in understanding as he spoke. "I see. That is dumb and foolish, playing the hero to rescue the swords. That is blind loyalty." Zenobia got annoyed by Amiya Archer's words as she was about to speak, but Amiya Archer continued, "You wish to fight against a being that surpasses you not only in terms of power but also strength. You will not only lose the blades you have but also will lose your lives. Is it really worth your sacrifice?" Zenobia lost her annoyed look and became contemplating on what she just said. Amiya Archer looked at her, and as he spoke, "That's what I thought. Amiya-kun, please tell us then, how should we deal with Cocabil?" Amiya Archer looked towards Issei and spoke, "I believe Master will have a plan for you, don't you?" "I do, actually. I was actually planning to show the 2 of you around Chaldea, the organization I am a part of. I am working to protect humanity, and Amiya Archer here is a heroic servant that belonged to the same organization." Amiya Archer nodded as he responded, "Issei is correct. We are the ones that is summoned by a master, aka Issei. He is the only last master in the organization due to certain events claiming the lives of many others." Issei nodded as he spoke his words. "Chaldea is a secret agency founded with the purpose of preventing the certain extinction of the human race. It specializes in handling temporal anomalies and other existential threats to humanity, aka the singularities. I will give more details at a later date when we visit Chaldea. For now we must act upon them as soon as possible. I will act accordingly, and deal with this situation." Issei spoke with a serious tone, as suddenly someone came into his room, as a huge dragon transformed into a woman. She had white hair, and wore a kimono, she held a folding fan, and she had a graceful appearance. This was Kyoheim, a Berserker-class servant. "Kyoheim?" Issei asked with a tone of surprise as she bowed gracefully towards Issei and spoke with a tone of gracefulness. "Kyoheim?" Issei asked with a tone of surprise as she bowed gracefully towards Issei and spoke with a tone of gracefulness. "So this is your home, Issei-kun?" Kyoheim looked around as she noticed 2 girls. As she spoke with a confused tone, "I see. Who are these girls?" "Oh, them. It's a long story. You might want to sit down for this one." Kyoheim nodded as Irina asked, "Is she one of the servants too?" "Yes, this is Kyoheim, a Berserker class, while Amiya there is an Archer class. There are more classes as well, which I will explain later. They have some perks that make them powerful, and the Berserker class is unique in every way." Amiya Archer nodded in agreement, as Issei explained to Kyoheim everything that had happened. As she spoke, "I see, so this woman here is your childhood friend, and the one here insulted you. May I deal with her?" Zenobia was on guard. The woman Kyoheim was not someone she wanted to deal with. She saw her dragon form, and that alone made her not cross with her at all. Issei looked at her and spoke, "That won't be necessary, Kyoheim. As you wish." Kyoheim spoke, as she continued, "So how do you plan to deal with this Cocabil? I have a few servants that wouldn't mind, but for now, I think we should all rest. We have school tomorrow, and I need to deal with a certain headache." Kyoheim and the others knew what this meant, as the Berserker was ready to deal with the woman that caused her master/lover so much heartache. She noted that his pain was similar to how she felt when Enshin betrayed her eons ago. "Issei, I think you should also rest for a while. Today has been tiring for you as well." Mari spoke as Issei nodded. Kyoheim looked at her as Mari gave a small smile, motioning that they can talk at a later date. Issei soon settled the 2 girls in a guest room, as he made sure that Asia wouldn't be under problem and wouldn't be targeted by the church due to what had happened in her past. He also had sent Hassan of the Cursed Arm to deal with anyone that even thinks about harming Kiba. So I see, since the other girls aren't here? Mind if we sleep here? Issei shook his head and spoke, It's alright Kyoheim, I will get a futon and sleep there. Kyoheim however was not having any of it, and grabbed him by the hand and spoke, We are sleeping together on one bed and that is final. Yes, ma'am. Issei spoke with a wry smile. He did not want to anger a woman who had reputation of burning down her lover for a lie. He did promise to never deceive her in any way, nor he wanted to make any of his girls sad in any way. He cared for all of them, and he'd be damned if anything happened to them. Issei agreed to sleep. As Kyoheim slept next to him, she placed her head on Issei's chest and dozed off with Issei placing his hand and rubbing her head assuring her that she would be fine. Scene change. Dark alleyway, Ko Town AM. Kiba was fighting against Freed Selzen, who had gained the upper hand, just when he was about to attack and end Kiba's life, but suddenly someone stabs Freed in the legs, arms and shoulders, basically impaling and crucifying him. Gaia! Freed screamed in pain, making him unable to move. As Kiba looked at the attacker, which made him back away nervously, the attacker was none other than Hassan of the Cursed Arm. Cursed Arm is an extremely tall, slender, dark man with his right arm bandaged. His right arm is described as an useless flat board, incapable of doing much. His face is a skull resembling the mask with its skin and nose shaven off. You will be coming with me, whether you like it or not. You will be coming with me, whether you like it or not. Freed glared at the Cursed Arm in hatred and anger, as he shouted madly, Haha! My boss will kill every last one of you. Whoever sent you here, you freak! Cursed Arm ignored his insults as he signaled BB to teleport this insane priest in a prison. As Kiba asked, Did Issei send you here? If you are referring to Master? Then yes, he was the one who asked me to keep an eye on you. He knew that you would fall into danger, that is why he called for you. Kiba had a worried look. The last thing he wanted is his friend and comrade to be involved in his life. He looked at him and spoke, Thank you, but I will be fine. Are you sure? Your body is still a devil composition, and you have been stabbed with a holy weapon. Kiba growled and he responded, I will be fine. Tell Issei to not worry about me. He should not get involved in my revenge. Revenge? Revenge against whom? Kiba spoke with a growl as he continued, Excalibur. Cursed Arm was confused as Kiba walked away. He was worried about him. He decided to keep an eye on him and report anything he can to Issei. This was the command given to him by Issei Hayadu. Scene change. Hayadu residence, AM. Issei opened his eyes yawning, as he looked to see Kyoheim clinging to Issei, as he gently tapped her cheek which woke her up. As Issei spoke, Morning, Heim. Kyoheim looked towards Issei as she gave a smile. She soon wrapped her arms around Issei and gave on his face as she spoke, Morning to you too, my Issei. She nuzzled herself on Issei's chest as she spoke. So what is the plan today? Well, for starters, I think we should probably wake up first and see if Issei was unable to continue when suddenly the door started to be knocked upon, as someone called out to him, Issei. Are you awake? Kyoheim looked towards Issei and spoke, Is she the nun that supported you? Yep. We should probably get up. Knowing her, she does get jealous when she sees another girl. It has happened before. Kyoheim nodded as she soon got up. Issei followed suit as they opened the door. They were greeted by the former nun. As Issei spoke, Sorry about that, Asia. Meet Kyoheim. It is nice to meet you, I mean Asia-chan. Kyoheim spoke with a tone of gratitude. She initially would have treated her like she does with all of the rivals, but she felt different with Asia, who greeted her in kind. Nice to meet you, Kyoheim. Kyoheim nodded with a tone of gratitude, as she sensed the pureness in Asia. Issei knew that Asia was known to attract dragons. He wondered if this counted for dragon-based servants as well. Scene change. Ko Academy AM. Issei, Matsuda, Motohama, Asia and Kiba were discussing on their plans for visiting Chaldea. Kiba's wounds were healed up by Asia earlier. Matsuda and Motohama were already informed about the supernatural, and now they understood why Issei hates the devil race. Makes sense why your life was miserable now, Issei. I didn't know our high school was populated by such heathens. Matsuda spoke with an annoyed tone. As Motohama spoke, Yep, they really are vixens using their beauty and lies to manipulate humanity to serve them. That is why I hate those filthy bats. The only ones I don't hate are a select few. Issei spoke with complete indifference, as Kiba spoke, but I see what you have done to Rias and her two stooges. It will attract unwanted attention, especially from someone known as Surzek's Lucifer. Her brother? Issei asked as Kiba nodded. He then responded, yes, I see what you did to his sister. He is not going to take it well. Unless you have a good reason, I would suggest you to be prepared. Just how strong is he, Kiba? Matsuda asked, to which Kiba spoke. They nickname him the Crimson-Haired Prince of Destruction. He is stated to be one of the two super devils, and is stated to be on par with even some of the strongest gods. He was stated to born with such destructive power that it destroyed the room nearby. The news surprised everyone except Kiba, Asia and Issei as Matsuda spoke with surprise. He is that strong? Yes, Matsuda. Kiba spoke with a worried tone, as he continued, the problem which Issei or potentially Chaldea may face is his anger. He loves his sister a lot, and he could potentially be a problem. Heh? That mongrel wouldn't stand a chance against me. The one who spoke in his mind was Gilgamesh, Archer. As Issei spoke, I know Gil, but for now, let's see how these filthy bats will be a problem to us. I see, so he is a Siscon? Motohama asked with confusion, to which Kiba spoke, he is close, but he is fortunately not a Siscon to not see reason or if his sister is in the wrong. So that is where Issei and Chaldea has an advantage. Well, that seems to be true. Hope he is not a pain like that filthy bat. Matsuda spoke with a drop of sweat. Hey Issei, you have really become racist towards devils. I guess experiences do change you for the worse. Motohama spoke in response. I still can't believe that Rias-senpai, a lady who is known for her grace and charm, can be such rotten on the inside. Yeah, I guess in some cases beauty is only meant on the outside, and not on the inside. Matsuda spoke as he continued, I can see your points, Issei. The devils here have become really manipulative, and the worst part is many of the students are following these devils. No offense. Matsuda spoke looking towards Asia and Kiba, as Kiba spoke. None taken, Matsuda. Kiba spoke as he added, besides Chaldea can find a way to remove our evil pieces, right? Yes, actually. BB, Da Vinci and Edison have already done the following. This Saturday will be your last day as devils. Kiba and Asia both sighed in relief as they became happy with this. They no longer will be bound to serve the red-haired whore any longer. They knew that their time would soon come. Speaking of which, where is Kyoheim anyway? Asia asked, to which Issei spoke while rubbing his head. Oh, her. Marine is interrogating her. She wanted to make sure that she is the one for me. Issei spoke, remembering his older sister demanding Issei to let her meet every single harem girl as they are all dating Issei. She wanted to make sure that Issei is choosing the right person, especially after the first two girls Issei was dating had betrayed and stabbed him in the back. That is one overprotective older sister you have got there. Motohama commented as Issei shrugged and responded, yeah, I guess. The others chuckled in response, as someone walked towards the group, as the girls spoke. Issei Hayada. The group turned around to see a young, beautiful girl with white hair and blue-green eyes. She mostly wears a Ko-Academy girls' school uniform. This was Momo Hanakai. What do you want, Hankai? Issei spoke coldly, making Momo flinch. Ever since Issei had entered the academy again, he had become close to a delinquent. He had brutally put the kendo club and anyone that attacked or assaulted him in their places. He beat up anyone that actually tried to assault or attack him in any way. Momo and the student council knew about what Issei had single-handedly done to Rias, Akino, and Kaneko. He was brutal and relentless, or that was what they presumed. Student council want you to be present. It is because of your latest attitude. President Sona wants to speak to you. Issei only got up and looked at her coldly as he spoke. And if I don't, what are you going to do? Are you going to force me? Momo looked at him with horror, seeing how much he changed. As he spoke, give your president a message. Tell her that no matter what the devils do, she is not going to force me to do anything. I am now a protector of humanity, and I will not let you devils try to control the human populace anymore. Momo staggered behind as Issei turned to her and spoke. The two former perverts know. I told them everything. You. Momo spoke with terror, as Matsuda spoke angrily. I never knew that the devils in the school want to manipulate us for their own gain. They are twisted and demented, and none of us will ever work for them. Matsuda is right. We will soon become part of Chaldea and we will protect this town. The devils won't control the students of this town any longer. Motohama spoke, as Issei walked forward and spoke. Give this message to the student council. I am a protector and defender of humanity, and on my watch this town is safe. You devils won't harm or manipulate anyone from my race ever again. Give this message to Sona Citri and Rias Hormori, Momo Hanakai. Momo almost teared up. She soon went away as she headed outside. Issei spoke with a cold tone. Filthy devil. Issei muttered with disgust as he rejoined his friends and talked more about Chaldea and learning more of its origins. He also discussed on what they should be dealing with Kokabeel, and from what is informed Freed is being well interrogated. Scene change. Momo revealed everything to Sona and Tsubaki, along with a young man with short blonde hair and gray eyes. He wears the Ko Academy boys' school uniform, albeit without the blazer, and his sleeves are rolled up. This was Genshiro's Saji. So he wants us to not be here? Sona asked, confused, to which Momo spoke. I am not sure myself. He thinks we are toying and manipulating the human race. All we know is that he harbors a deep hatred towards us. He also has revealed the truth to the two former perverts. Are you kidding me? Sona exclaimed as she responded with a confused tone. Why did he tell them? I don't know. Now he is proclaiming himself to be a guardian and protector of the human race. And in his eyes we are the biggest problem to the human race. That is what I can deduce from their tone. Not to mention, both Kiba and Asia are with them. They hate us. Genshiru also responded in agreement. Yeah, Hayato has changed. Not only he has stopped being a pervert, his kindness is almost gone. He became akin to a delinquent, like he has changed completely. He's not the same person. Sona nodded in agreement. Yeah, you are right on that one. Anyways, I will talk or negotiate with him. I want to know what really happened. Rias is not opening her mouth about her pawn due to her being in treatment for what had happened, so I will be the one to handle the case. Sona spoke seriously as they all nodded in agreement. They don't know what Rias did to warrant such hatred from Issei. They tried to help against the rumors, but with many believing they were helpless against them, and without proof or Rias not cooperating, it was getting even worse. Eventually his disappearance for months, and followed by his return, which changed him. Sona wanted to know what Issei intends to do, since she was having a really bad feeling. Rias has not woken up along with Kaneko and Akino. She is still recovering from the brutal assault that Issei had inflicted, and she needed answers. Unaware that she is talking to someone that hates devils, and must be careful on what she does next. Issei was present in class, taking notes for what the teacher will be needing to say to them. Once the class was done, they all stood up and bowed to their teacher in gratitude. He knew that the Chaldea tour was coming soon and he would be needing to prepare some of the servants who may end up offending his parents, older sister, Asia, Kiba, Matsuda and Motohama. Yo! Issei! Issei! As thoughts were soon diverted to Motohama calling out to him, as Matsuda asked, What were you thinking? Issei shook his head and spoke, And nothing much. What's up, guys? I wanted to ask, is it true that the devils have infiltrated even the school board? Issei nodded. BB had informed him that the Gremry family had even infiltrated the school board and posed as humans to get into Ko Academy. He needed to deal with them too in an event they become a problem, especially considering what he did to their daughter. Yep, they have infiltrated in the school board as well. This will be a problem to me later on, knowing how much influence Gremry as a family has both on the supernatural and on the human world. Matsuda and Motohama couldn't help but agree to his words. Whenever they found something that could prove Issei innocent, something always happened to them such that all their hard work was gone down the drain. When Issei was informed, he had revealed that the Gremry peerage did so to maintain their reputation on the school. His words were backed up by both Yudo and Asia, both of whom noticed Kaneko spying on them, which made the former perverted duo really annoyed and angered at how much control these devils had over them just because they were human. I see. So what is the plan now? Matsuda asked as he continued, We can't let these devils control our very lives, but many of these classmates go after these girls unaware of their true identities. I guess that is how they gain people for their own selfish goals. I am aware. Honestly, I was expecting Surzex or the Gremry family to show up to my doorstep any day now, but to be surprised, they never did. Issei spoke with a shrug, as he could notice the Kendo duo glaring at the three. Issei sighed and returned the glare, causing them to turn their gaze away from him. They were completely fearful of him, and didn't want to cross him in any manner, due to their latest incident against him. Humph! Issei responded. As Asia and Yido soon joined in, he then asked, "So how is Rias?" Issei asked with total indifference, to which Yido spoke. "She has been receiving intense treatment. The damage you, or I should say Artoria, did to her is something that she would have almost died from." Issei shrugged in response and spoke. "Well, I actually had to hold back, so that I don't end up killing her. That's how weak she was. Worse, that bitch had the audacity to attack my house and parents. Had I not made it at the right time, she would have even killed them. Honestly, I hate these devils at this point." Yuto and Asia didn't blame him. Even the latter hated what happened to Issei's parents, since they almost would have died that day, and potentially she may be killed for disobeying her master, although I would be careful. Yuto spoke with worry as he continued. "You see, Kaneko has just woken up. She had informed Rias's parents about what you did to her and her peerage. Needless to say, they weren't happy, and will soon arrive to deal you. Careful, since you are already in the red due to what you did to Rias, you will only get worse in trouble." Issei nodded with a sigh. As soon enough an announcement happened. "Issei Hayadu, can you head to meeting room 7? There is someone from the school board that wants to have a conversation with you." Issei only looked at Yuto, who nodded in response. He could only groan in frustration, knowing full well that it was the Gremry family that has shown up to deal with her. Scene change. Issei was heading towards the meeting room 7, as Jean, Avenger Alter, mentally contacted him and spoke. "I see, summon me. I can deal with those devils." "Not yet, Jalter. I know you are itching to deal with them, but first let's see what bullshit she is going to sprout." Jean, Avenger Alter, pouted in response. She wanted to deal with them personally, but she respected Issei's choice. But she knew she was going to have a chance of dealing. Issei opened the door, and was greeted by a stunning woman who seemed to be in her S. She awfully looked like Rias. Although she had shorter, flaxen hair and violet eyes, she wore an elegant white dress that extends to just above the knees, featuring a fitted bodice with a low neckline and a delicate lace trim. The sheer, translucent sleeves end just above the wrists, adding a touch of grace. A black underlayer peeks out at the hemline, contrasting with the white dress, while a gray belt cinches the waist, accentuating the silhouette. The ensemble is complemented by a prominent necklace with a red gemstone pendant and a matching choker. "I presume you must be Issei Hayadu?" Issei looked at her and spoke. "Yep, that's me. What do you want with me, woman? That is no way to talk to a lady, Hayadu." Issei only gave a cold glance at her. He hated the Gremry family at this point for ruining his life. However, he needed to keep his anger and xenophobia in check. But if she pisses him or annoys him for too long, he will make her suffer the same fate as he did his daughter. "Then what am I supposed to call you, woman?" The woman only glared at him in response. Issei didn't show any ounce of respect to her in any manner. She then took a deep breath and spoke. "My name is Venelana Gremry. Just call me Mrs. Gremry, Hayadu." Issei nodded. As he sat down, he internally sighed, knowing that this was going to take a long day. He needed to have the patience and tolerance for dealing with the devil, one that is known to be prideful, arrogant, and straight-up annoying. "Anyways, my question still stands. What do you want?" Venelana then spoke while controlling her temper. "You know very well. Why? You attacked your master Rias Gremry. Care to explain that?" Let me think." Issei took a thinking pose. He wanted to play with Venelana while she is here. She needed to teach that spoiled brat some manners and human decency, especially if she needed to live in the human world. "No, I don't think I will." Issei spoke coldly, as he started to walk out of the room. He was about to grab the handle when all of a sudden the door handle exploded and was disintegrated. He could only smirk in response, as he gave a glance towards Venelana, who had her hand raised. She made it clear she was going to get something from him whether he likes it or not. "So that's how you want to play, fine by me." Venelana angrily demanded in response. "You will apologize to Rias for what you have done to her." Issei now lost his smirk and narrowed his gaze. The devils, no matter how they look, how they behave, many of them have one thing in mind: They are all entitled and believe they are superior, but once you destroy that pride and entitlement, they will show their real selves and will act like crybabies when their pride is destroyed. Issei has experienced that with Riser before when he cried about his loss like a baby, claiming that whatever he did along with his family when he desired to be wed to Rias. And now Rias, who clearly showed bitterness and anger when she was defeated by Issei/Skatak days ago, and later when her whole peerage were stalking him, thinking that they own him, only for them to be suffering wounds that would take several phoenix tears to heal. I wonder why should I apologize to that red-haired slut? Venelana was getting angrier by the second. Issei has been showing no regret on what he did to her. Because look at her, you almost killed her. You are going to apologize to her whether you. Issei cuts her off and angrily retorts. On what grounds do I need to apologize? Tell me, Venelana. Issei spoke coldly with anger and hatred in his tone. He hated the fact that Kaneko didn't even tell her everything. She must have even put him in a bad light. He should have scarred her even more, and make an example out of her too. The fact that you are completely oblivious to the vile actions your wretched daughter has committed in her desperate attempts to control me is a testament to how callous and condescending you filthy bats truly are. It's astounding that you remain unaware of the lengths she has gone to, and yet you have the audacity to demand anything from me. Perhaps it would be wise to educate your pathetic excuse of a daughter on basic manners before you dare to make me speak. Consult that devious cat about the spying actions she committed, and inquire with that fallen whore and the red-haired slut about their malicious deeds before you presume to say anything to me. The depths of their treachery must be revealed and addressed before I even consider entertaining any of your hollow demands. Venelana had reached her breaking point with Issei. She had exercised remarkable patience, but now, she was determined to deal with him decisively. The blatant disrespect he had shown was intolerable. To her, he was nothing more than an arrogant human, and she intended to educate him in a manner that would compel him to apologize to Rias, one way or another. Her patience was nearly exhausted as she finally voiced her frustration. You are testing my patience, Issei. I advise you to show some respect or else. Or else what, Gremry? Issei interrupted, his voice dripping with disdain. You are nothing but a filthy, pathetic bat who needs to be put in her place. You and your daughter, Rias Gremry, made my school life miserable, almost killed my parents, spied on me, and threatened me and my loved ones multiple times. Venelana's aura flared with raw power as she absorbed his words. She was unsure whether Issei was telling the truth, but his blatant racism and hostility made it difficult for her to trust him. However, she was resolute in her desire for Issei to apologize and make amends for the wrongs he had inflicted on her daughter and her peerage. You have no idea what you are dealing with, Issei, Venelana responded coldly, her eyes narrowing. Your arrogance and racism blinds you. My daughter and her friends have shown you compassion, friendship and tolerance time and again, and yet you repay them with hatred and disrespect. If you continue down this path, you will find that my patience is not the only thing that has limits. Issei scoffed, but there was a flicker of uncertainty in his eyes as he felt the weight of Venelana's power pressing down on him. He had underestimated her resolve, and it was becoming clear that she would not back down. However, either was he going to back down. I am arrogant? I never knew you bats had the mental capacity to make jokes. Especially in your pride and arrogance, Gremry. Issei's words dripped with venom, pushing Venelana's patience to its breaking point. Her anger was palpable, and she was teetering on the edge of snapping. Issei then lowered his voice, adding with a sinister undertone, or should I say bale? After all, it's in your nature to be arrogant and prideful. You whine like a baby when you don't get what you want, just like your half-brother. That was the final straw. Venelana had finally snapped. The blatant disrespect, the cutting insults, and the relentless provocation were too much to bear. She could feel her power surging as she prepared to strike back. You insolent wretch! She spat, her aura flaring with a fierce intensity. I will not tolerate your insolence any longer. Venelana's eyes blazed with fury as she stepped forward, ready to unleash her power upon him. The air crackled with tension, and Issei could feel the weight of her wrath bearing down on him. This was no longer a verbal confrontation. It was a clash of wills and a battle of power. You dare to mock me and my family? Venelana continued, her voice ringing with authority and rage. You will learn respect, Issei. Whether you like it or not. Her aura intensified, casting an ominous glow around her. Issei could sense the gravity of the situation. This was a side of Venelana he had never seen before, a side that was not to be trifled with. The time for words was over. Action was imminent. Triggering a barrier that transported the duo into an artificial space, Venelana unleashed a formidable power of destruction blast. The energy crackled and surged, hurtling towards Issei with deadly intent. Issei observed the approaching pod with a calm detachment. If this had happened 2 years ago, he would have been terrified, overwhelmed by the sheer power, and questioning what he had done to deserve such wrath. Back then, he wasn't strong enough to face such a force, and fear would have paralyzed him. But now, he didn't flinch. As the destructive energy neared, his body began to glow with a radiant light before transforming into a blazing fire. In an instant, Issei was no longer standing there. Instead, Jean Dark Alter appeared in his place. He had fused with Jean Alter. Jean Alter had a pale complexion, piercing yellow eyes, and long ankle-length white blonde hair with an evoke. Her armor, flag, and cape were darker in hue, adding to her menacing presence. She wore heels and bore a sinister smirk on her face. Finally! Jean Alter / Issei exclaimed, their voice filled with dark satisfaction combined as one. They were thrilled to join the fight. Venelana's eyes widened at the sudden transformation. The powerful blast of destruction met with Jean Alter's defiant stance, and the air around them crackled with tension. Issei / Jean Alter's sinister smile grew wider as she prepared to confront Venelana. You think you can intimidate me with your power of destruction? Issei / Jean Alter taunted, she voice dripping with contempt. I welcome the challenge. Bringing out her corrupted version of her flag, Luminosite Eternelle and her blade, the flag being in a downward motion, she wasted no time in chanting her noble phantasm that would give Venelana a taste of her own medicine. All evil shall gather here. This is the howl of a soul filled with hatred. La Grandement du Haine. The flag began to release flames, their intensity and power akin to that of a first-rate dragon's breath. Under the mantle of an avenger, Issei, now transformed into Jean Dark Alter, kindled the flames with an unrelenting fervor. She harnessed the deep-seated grudges within herself and the ambient surroundings, converting them into potent magical energy. This fiery display was aimed at incinerating the injustice, corruption, and self-righteousness of her opponents. Much like her regular variant, Issei / Jean Alter's attack absorbed the power of destruction, growing stronger with each passing moment. As the destructive energy combined with her flames, it began to reflect back towards Venelana. The sight was nothing short of terrifying. Venelana watched in shock and horror as her own formidable power was turned against her, magnified by the avenging flames. She commanded her sword forward and taunted with a sadistic grin. You thought you could destroy me with your power? Issei / Jean Alter taunted, her voice echoing with dark amusement. Feel the wrath of your own arrogance. The artificial space trembled as the confrontation reached its zenith. Jean Alter, with her blazing flag, stood as a fearsome adversary. Her attack, fueled by deep-seated grudges and amplified by Venelana's own power, was unstoppable. The scene was a testament to the devastating potential of an Avenger's fury, a force that could not be easily quelled. In a desperate attempt, she unleashed a barrier to protect herself. She wanted to escape but couldn't. The barrier shattered immediately as she took the entire brunt of her power. She screamed in pain, as her whole body was burning on its own. She regretted ever provoking him in any manner. She knew her chances of escaping was slim to none. Her skin was being burnt, and her flesh and skin was being melted, almost like a chocolate bar when it is exposed to too much heat. Any more heat or intensity increase, and she would pretty much become a puddle of bones, skin, blood, and many more organic parts. Aya! Please make it stop, I beg of you. Issei / Jean Alter's expression did not falter, as they patiently waited for the attack to die down. They watched with utter satisfaction and sadism on how Venelana was suffering from her own attack. Soon enough, she was sent upwards by a high and several spears were inserted into her abdomen, almost impaling her in her gut. She coughed up blood in response, as she looked towards Issei/Jean, Alter, with palpable fear and terror, knowing what she is capable of. I only used % of the phantasm, and look what it did to you. Issei/Jean, Alter, shook her head. She placed the flag on the ground, and putting the sword next to the flag, she continued to speak. Imagine, on what I could do if I had used more than % of the power, there would be no trace left of you. Venelana's fear escalated. She was hyperventilating and tears streamed down her face. The overwhelming terror made her desperate to escape, regretting ever summoning Issei. As Jean Alter reverted back to Issei, the flag and sword disappeared. Issei's tone turned cold and menacing. I could kill you, Gremory, but where's the fun in that? You've shown yourself to be just like your daughter. I want you to live in perpetual fear, knowing full well what happened to you and what I can do to you and your family if you ever cross me. The ethereal spears dissipated, leaving Venelana to cough up blood. Her terror intensified, understanding the gravity of Issei's words and the torment he intended to inflict. She wondered if she would even survive the serious wounds he had inflicted. Issei continued, his voice dripping with contempt. I also kept you alive because I want you to send a message to all the devils. This town is under my protection and governance. You filthy bats have clearly and spectacularly failed. Venelana's body trembled as she tried to process his words. The realization of her predicament, coupled with the physical pain, made her cry even harder. Now, if you will excuse me, I have classes to attend. Goodbye, filthy devil. Issei spoke, his voice having the same contempt he held for her all this while. Venelana's very expression reminded him of Rias, the same woman that ruined him and destroyed whatever life he had once and then went after his loved ones and friends just to locate where he is. Venelana showed utter disregard, ignorance and apathy for her daughter's actions due to her rage in seeing her daughter's condition, not even hearing Issei out and letting her emotions get the better of her. This costed her dearly, resulting in her brutal loss and complete destruction of her pride and body. She was not the same and needed treatment for her wounds. As for Venelana, she could only watch Issei leave, helplessly watching the same man that had once prevented her daughter's engagement to Riser, the same man that had once loved her with all of his heart, and more than anything else. Despising her to no bounds at this point. Scene change. Issei headed out of the meeting room 7 with a satisfactory grin. It was so good to deal with Venelana Gremory. As he started to head to his classroom, he knew that this was just the beginning of what is to come to him. But he will be ready in dealing with whatever is thrown at him. Suddenly, a magic circle opened beside him which revealed to be his sister Mari's magic circle. As she spoke, "You up for a chat?" Issei shrugged and spoke with a smile. "Sure," Mari said as she sat down. "I wanted to talk to you about your latest bout of xenophobia." "What do you mean?" Issei asked, puzzled. Mari took a deep breath and sighed worriedly. "Your xenophobia is becoming problematic, I see. Your hatred towards the devils and other supernatural beings is only going to get you into more trouble." "I don't understand." "Why would I be in trouble?" Mari shook her head. "I don't mean it that way. I'm worried about you. You went missing for 2 months, and because of what Rias did, our family had to endure some vile things. I'm afraid you might do something to someone innocent, worsening an already sensitive situation, and I don't want to lose you too." Mari's sadness and concern were evident. Issei knew how much his older sister cared for him, and how much she was worried about him. "Mari, I know what you're trying to convey. But you don't understand how much influence these filthy bats have over humans. Look at the school. So many boys and girls look up to people like Rias Gremory and Akino Himejima. They made my life miserable and caused our family so much pain. They deserve what's coming to them. Worse, Sona and her peerage did nothing to help me when I needed it most. Many turned a blind eye to the beatings I endured." Mari was shocked by this revelation. She hadn't known the extent of what Issei had gone through. She only knew about his relation with Rias and fallout that had happened between the two, but she did not know how the school's students had tortured and beaten him up. With a serious yet concerned tone, she asked, "Then why didn't you come forward? Why didn't you inform the faculty or the principal? They would have helped, right?" Issei shook his head. "It wouldn't have worked. Back then, I had a reputation as a pervert. Many would have assumed I deserved it. Even if someone had tried to help, those filthy bats would have erased their memories to maintain their reputation. I have no faith in them anymore. Mari nodded, understanding the harsh truth. She herself had encountered similar situations, dealing with fallen angels while studying in the United States. She gritted her teeth in anger, knowing what these devils had done to her brother. Issei, just promise me you won't get into trouble. I'm not against what you're doing, but I don't want to lose you, Issei. Issei nodded. I understand, Marine. You can count on me not to do anything foolish against them. But if they provoke me, they will suffer the consequences. Mari sighed, still feeling the weight of worry but also a glimmer of relief. Issei, please, just remember that not everyone is like Rias or her peerage. There are good people among the devils too. Don't let your hatred blind you to that. Issei looked at her, the anger in his eyes softening just a little. I'll try, Marine. But it's hard to forget what they've done. They took so much from me, from us. Mari reached out and took his hand. I know, Issei. But holding on to that hatred will only consume you. Promise me you'll try to find a way to move past it, to see the good in people again. I speak from experience, and let me tell you, hatred will only bring you and us more trouble. Issei squeezed her hand in return, his expression softening. He didn't want to harm his parents, his sister, or any of his loved ones. I can't make any guarantees because of what they did to me, he admitted. Mari looked down in sadness, understanding the depth of her brother's pain and his reasons for hating devils in general. She knew how much he had suffered and how that suffering had shaped his perspective. But then Issei spoke again, his voice more gentle, although, I promise, Marine. For you I'll try. Mari looked up, a small smile playing on her lips as she saw the determination in his eyes. That's all I ask, Issei. Just try. We'll get through this together. Scene change. Issei was seated in the lunch table alongside Yuro, Asia, Matsuda and Motohama. He was eating his lunch when someone slammed the table in anger. The five looked at the people and they all were having angry faces. Motohama recognized them as the boyfriends of the Kendo Club, or at least the people present were, excluding Murayama and Keitase. The first was a tall, muscular man standing at. He had blonde, spiky hair and a sporty expression. He wore a traditional Ko-Academy uniform, but instead of black, he sported a navy blue blazer with white accents, a white long-sleeved dress shirt with a black ribbon on the collar, matching navy blue pants, and brown dress shoes. His name was Shinji Yukimura, a RD-year student and the captain of the wrestling club at Ko. The second was a middle-statured man, tall, with raven hair that reached his lower neck. He wore attire similar to Yorokiba but with a purple striped necktie on his dress shirt. This was Mahito Aiku, a member of the art club and an end-year student. The third was another middle-statured man, tall, with a hairstyle similar to Mahito's but shorter. He wore the same uniform as Yorokiba with a silver t-shirt underneath his dress shirt, similar to Issei. This was Kibane Haki, also a member of the art club and an end-year student. The fourth was a tall, muscular man standing at. He had silver hair tied into a ponytail that extended below his lower chest. He wore a navy blue blazer and matching pants similar to Shinji, with the rest of his uniform adhering to Koa's standards. His ponytail was secured with a small band, and he wore black shoes instead of brown. His name was Sakema Hamura, the captain of the Space Research Club and Shinji's best friend, also a RD-year student. The fifth was a short-statured man, tall, with dark purple hair cut to upper neck length. He wore a traditional Ko-Academy uniform, strictly following the uniform standards. This was Yoji Sakami, a member of the Japanese History Club and an end-year student. So, what do you five want from us? Issei spoke with an uninterested tone, clearly not invested in the confrontation. His focus was elsewhere, not on the students who had gathered to watch, knowing the reputation he had gained after the incident with the Kendo Club. The few who were brave or foolish enough to challenge him stood before him now, the tension palpable. We're here to talk to you. You're the one who hurt and injured our girlfriends, right? Shinji Yukimura, the tall, muscular captain of the wrestling club, spoke first, his voice steady but edged with anger. Issei turned to face him, his expression indifferent. Yep, that's me. So, what do you want? Yoji Sakami, the short-statured member of the Japanese History Club, stepped forward next. Do you even realize what you've done? You broke several of their bones and critically injured many. You need to pay for what you've done to them. Before Issei could respond, Matsuda intervened, his tone icy. Let me remind you, Sakami-san, your girlfriend beat Issei senseless. His bones were broken, and if it wasn't for Asia, he would have been in a much worse state. She started it first, and she got what she deserved. Asia nodded in agreement, recalling the time she had healed Issei despite the rumors that had driven a wedge between them. Yoji backed away nervously, and Shinji spoke again, his voice filled with disdain. He's a pervert, a good-for-nothing creep. He deserved those punishments when he was. Motohama, visibly annoyed, cut him off. Even when he was minding his own business, he was the first among us to not peek on women. Yet those bitches circulated rumors of him raping Rias, Akino, and Kaneko, which none of us are heinous enough to commit. Come up with a better excuse, Yukimura-san. Shinji, angered, made a move towards Motohama, but Matsuda stepped between them, glaring. You may be the captain of the wrestling team, Yukimura-san, but remember, I was a former jock. I don't take kindly to anyone attacking my friends. Just because we don't harm those that insult Issei anymore doesn't mean we won't put you in your place. So don't even think about attacking my friends. True, Motohama added coldly. Matsuda was a school sports star back in junior high, where he broke multiple records. Unless you want to provoke someone who can put you in the infirmary for the rest of the week, stand down. Shinji, seething with anger, reluctantly backed away. Issei smiled, heartened by his friend's unwavering support. The 5 boys then noticed Yudo Kiba, and Mahito Aiku spoke. Why are you with these perverts, Kiba? Kiba narrowed his gaze, his tone sharp. Are they peeping on your girls? There haven't been any complaints from the student council or anyone else for the past 3 months, yet you still consider them perverts. May I know why, Aiku-san? Mahito was silent for a moment before responding. They might spy on our girls again. That's not going to happen, Matsuda snapped, his voice full of contempt. There's no way we are going to spy on those bitches, you can be assured of that. Mahito's face twisted in anger, but Matsuda remained unfazed. Sakema Hamura, the tall, silver-haired captain of the Space Research Club, then turned his attention to Asia, who was seated beside Issei. Asia, why don't you come and join us? Asia glared at Sakema, her voice firm. No, I am seated beside Issei and his friends. I trust them more than I trust the rest of the people here, especially those so-called goddesses of the academy. Sakema reached out to her, his voice pleading. Listen to me, these people are only going to be a bad influence. Before Asia could respond or defend herself, Issei grabbed Sakema's hand, his grip like iron. Sakema struggled, his strength comparable to Shinji's, but Issei effortlessly held him in place. Let go of me, Hayate, he demanded, anger flaring in his eyes. Issei's voice was cold and unyielding. I will, but hands off my Asia. Asia blushed at his possessive words, her heart fluttering as she thought, my Asia. In his anger, Sakema tried to use his free hand to strike Issei in the face, but Issei deftly turned his head, avoiding the blow. He then increased the strength of his grip, causing Sakema to grit his teeth in pain before. Snap! Aya! Sakema screamed in agony, staring at his mangled hand. Issei had broken the hand he had used to grab Asia. In response, Shinji glared at Issei, his anger boiling over as he screamed, Hyudyou. He lunged at Issei, ready to pummel him, but Issei sidestepped the attack, kicking Shinji in the stomach and causing him to vomit out his lunch. A swift follow-up kick to the chin snapped Shinji's head back, leaving him dazed and unable to react. Issei finished with a brutal kick to Shinji's chest, sending him flying into the wall and knocking him out cold. Fortunately, the wall remained intact. Issei then cracked his stiff neck, his eyes scanning the remaining 3 boys who were paralyzed with fear. Does anyone else want to try their luck against me? He demanded. None of the boys moved, their fear evident. Issei's voice was cold and commanding as he spoke. Take these 2 idiots out of here before I really start to beat them up. Trust me, it won't be pretty once I'm done with you 5. The 3 boys nodded frantically, rushing to help their fallen comrades. They muttered threats like, it is not over, and you are going to regret this. But Issei ignored them. If they dared to challenge him again, he wouldn't hesitate to put them in the hospital. As they left, Issei glanced around the canteen. The other students, once gleefully watching him being tormented, now avoided his gaze, terrified of what he might do next. Issei smirked, enjoying their fear. Good, at least you learned your lessons. He sat down, and Asia asked, "You alright?" Issei nodded, "Yep, I am." Before anyone could say more, an announcement came over the microphone. "May Hayate Issei head to the student council office as soon as possible?" Issei groaned internally. More trouble from the student council, more interference from those filthy bats. But he had made a promise to his sister. He had to go and see what they wanted. If they provoked or annoyed him, he wouldn't hesitate to handle them as he had handled Venelana. Issei Matsuda began, concern in his voice. "I will be back soon. I will handle her without any issues," Issei assured him. With that, he prepared to face whatever awaited him at the student council office, determined to uphold his promise to his sister while staying true to his resolve. Scene change. Student council, PM. Issei knocked on the student council door, and soon enough, a voice came from inside. "Come in." Issei entered, finding the Citri members staring at him. He met their gazes with a glare, causing them to gulp in fear. Taking a seat, he crossed one leg over the other and spoke. "So, what do you want from me?" Sona took a deep breath and replied. "First, thank you for coming, Hayate. I have a few questions. Will you answer them for us?" Sona's tone was polite, contrasting sharply with the demanding and aggressive demeanor of Venelana or Rias. Sona's approach was entirely different. She didn't want to be perceived as a threat or provoke him. She sought answers, nothing more, nothing less. "Since you asked politely, I'll answer questions if I deem them worthy," Issei replied. Some of the student council members wanted to interject, but a stern look from Tsubaki silenced them. They had to handle this delicate situation with great care. "First and foremost, were you the one responsible for attacking Rias and her peerage, excluding Yudo Kiba and Asia Argento?" Sona asked. Issei nodded. "Yes, I enjoyed putting those filthy devils in their places." Some of the student council members began to bristle with anger, but Sona took a deep breath. Though angered by Issei's words, she knew his transformation didn't happen overnight. She needed to understand what truly transpired. "May I know why?" Sona inquired. Issei controlled his anger as he spoke. "Rias had the audacity to barge into my house, attempt to harm, and even kill my family for looking for me. After that, she had her cat, Kaneko, spy on me. Honestly, I was glad to put that filthy bat in her place. I am pretty sure she is suffering a fate worse than death." Sona was taken aback by the venom in his tone. His hatred was so intense that Issei had become vehemently prejudiced towards Rias. She now understood why. Tsubaki then asked, "How can you be sure you're not lying?" Issei turned his gaze towards her. "I can call my parents right now and ask them to come here. If they provide you with a report, would you believe it then?" Issei's words held no deceit. Sona couldn't detect any trace of falsehood in his voice, indicating that Rias truly committed those actions. This was unforgivable. If word got out, Rias would be stripped of her title as heiress and lose control of Ko, which never belonged to her since Surzex made a deal with the Shinto pantheon. Tsubaki fell silent, sensing the anger and hatred in his voice whenever Rias or her peerage were mentioned. She refrained from asking further questions for the time being. I see. Sona narrowed her gaze, fully aware that Rias wouldn't escape the consequences of her actions. But she had other issues to address. When Kaneko woke up, she gave a completely different account of the events. Kaneko's account was that Issei attacked them unprovoked, brutally and ruthlessly, almost bringing Rias and Akino to the verge of death. This shocked the Gremory family, especially Grafia and Surzex, who believed Kaneko was lying. But with the evidence, they had to reluctantly accept her account. Venelana and Xiaticus, Rias's mother and father, were furious at what Issei did to their daughter, viewing him as a rogue attempting to harm his master. Surzex and Grafia wanted to talk to him first, but Venelana went ahead, seeking answers for why Issei harmed her daughter. The result was Venelana in a terrible condition. However, Sona needed to inform Issei of the potential consequences of his actions. Hayate, You do realize that attacking Rias can be construed as a stray devil attacking his master, right? Sona said. Issei understood Sona's point, but she overlooked one crucial detail. I am no longer a devil associated with the Gremry family, Issei said. Sona and the others were wide-eyed in shock. Genshiro spoke up. But how? It's impossible to reverse the process. The end result is a death sentence. Sona tried to sense his aura but couldn't detect any devil aura. She widened her eyes in shock and horror, realizing Issei had found a way to remove his evil pieces and survive, making him the first human to do so. I made it possible, Saji. Believe it or not, Issei said. The Citri peerage backed away, worried about what he was capable of. Even Tsubaki was in disbelief. Sona took a deep breath, having received news of Venelana's condition after meeting Issei. She was horrified by how Issei tortured her, and worried Surzex might come after him for what he did to Surzex's mother. That's why she contacted him immediately, wanting to resolve this problem as soon as possible. She then spoke. Issei, as much as I would like to know how you extracted your pieces without dying, I have a different question. I want to know why you harmed Venelana Gremry. Issei was surprised. He had only dealt with her a few hours ago, and was surprised at how fast news reached the devils. How did you know? He asked. News spreads fast, Issei. Considering you basically burned her alive and staked her multiple times, many aren't happy with what you did to the Gremry matriarch. They want to know why you did that to her, Sona said with slight anger. Venelana was like an aunt to her. She knew Issei had a good reason, but she needed to hear it. She attacked me first, demanding I answer for what I did to Rias and apologize because I was a low-class devil. You know why I did that to Rias. When I left the room, not intending to listen to her nonsense, she attacked me with her power of destruction. I defended myself and set an example, showing that I am not the same man who loved Rias, especially after what she and her family tried to do to me. Sona was agape. She never expected Venelana to go this far. However, she felt Issei went too far in self-defense. I understand your reasons, but I think you went too far. Sona snapped her fingers, bringing out images of Venelana's condition. Look at her. Look at how tormented and pained she is. She was literally crying from the immense pain you put her through. Issei remained unaffected by Sona's exclaims. He spoke with a cold, icy tone that brought chills to Sona and her peerage. So? She brought this on herself. This is exactly why I detest devils, Sona, especially the pure-blooded ones. You think you can harm anyone, thinking you're superior to anyone not a pure-blooded devil. This is why I see your kind as nothing but filthy bats. Sona flinched at his tone, sensing the venom in his words. Normally, she would have retorted, but she couldn't, seeing Issei's hatred was somewhat justified. And speaking of going too far, why didn't any of you show up when I was being tormented and beaten up by the kendo girls? Why didn't you do your jobs? Issei exclaimed, his voice full of anger at the injustice he had suffered. His bones were broken, yet no one helped him or informed the devils. The students he glared at were terrified, while others were confused. What did Issei mean about ignoring his pain and suffering? Even Sona and Tsubaki were confused. Why weren't they informed of this? You left me alone to be beaten up. I got hit with vile crap, and you did nothing. And you, Sona, how dare you accuse me of going too far when they started it first? Answer me. Issei's outburst left Sona taken aback. She realized how bad and volatile the situation with Issei had become because of some impulsive people. She needed to identify who ignored Issei's plight and deal with them swiftly. The other peerage members were terrified, especially those who had a hand in ignoring the kendo club beating Issei nearly to death. Do you have an answer for your ignorance, Sona Citri? Issei exclaimed, and Sona could only look down in shame. As a leader, she had to take full responsibility for her peerage's actions. Issei then responded coldly, That's what I thought. He took a deep breath and then spoke to Sona. Can I leave now? Sona looked at Issei and responded with a shaky tone, Why yes, you can. Issei left the room. Sona took several deep breaths to compose herself, and then spoke seriously. I want all of you to take a break for 2 hours. Once we are done, we will have a discussion on who ignored Issei's situation. Those that did will be punished accordingly. Sona's gaze made many fearful. They nodded in understanding, knowing full well what might happen to them. The peerage left to recover from what had happened as Sona put her hands on her head and spoke in a low, fearful tone. Rias, what have you done? Days later, alleyway, Town AM. Days have passed since the Issei's clash against Venelana Gremry, where she almost died by his hands. Mari was walking home from the grocery store. She needed to get some food for the two guests that are going to visit her place. She knew that Zenobia and Irina had no place to go due to Irina's bad money management skills and on the fact that she spent all of their savings on a painting. A painting. That foolish idiot. What were the church thinking giving her the entire money, and why didn't Zenobia think of stopping her? Mari spoke with anger in her tone. She remembered those two found begging near the streets, which was found by Issei's mother, who asked the two girls to settle down in her house. When they heard what had really happened, and why did they not have any money? Mickey felt pity for the girls. Mari, on the other hand, felt annoyance. She remembered Irina's terrible money management skills from their childhood, since she used to babysit the two when they were young. She used to handle any money that Irina would be allowed to spend, since she would just recklessly spend it on some toys that are way too expensive. Although she did so for Issei as well, since she was the older one amongst the three. She still cared for Irina, despite her foolishness. Well, I should be getting home, those two must be starving. Mari spoke with a sigh. She still cared for Irina regardless, seeing her as a little sister as well. However, just as she was about to escape, a magic circle was found underneath her legs. She exclaimed in response, "What the dash?" Mari widened her eyes when she recognized the magic circle. It belonged closely to the Gremry family, but the symbol was different. She tried to escape, but the circle quickly teleported her to an unknown location. When the teleportation ended, Mari was in a separate location. She looked around. It was a mansion which was only lit by a few candles. It seemed too dark for her likings. "I am glad you could be found, Miss Hayate." Mari felt a chill upon hearing the voice. She knew who exactly it was, and slowly turned around to see Surzex sipping from a cup of coffee. The oldest Hayate was on guard. She did not trust anyone from the Gremry family, especially since one of them had the guts to harm her parents. "What do you want?" Mari had both her sacred gears ready, which are Innovate, Clear, and Telos Karma. Surzex wasn't fazed. He knew that Mari will pose a challenge, but even she wouldn't be able to beat him. However, Surzex didn't intend to harm her in any manner. Not only he doesn't want to, but also he is not foolish enough to provoke Issei, knowing full well what he did to Rias and later Venelana. "I just want to talk, that's all." Mari turned around and spoke. "So talk, Lucifer." Surzex kept his coffee down and spoke seriously. "Yeah, I wanted to talk about your brother. He has created quite the mark in my family. He almost killed Rias's entire peerage, and even my mother, and he could have Lucifer. You know full well Issei hates them." Surzex was able to control his anger and other emotions due to his experience as a leader. Surzex sighed and spoke. "Why is what I want to know. I know Issei doesn't have beef with a person all of a sudden, so tell me, what really happened? Before I tell you, would you lead me to the Gremry peerage? I give you my word that I won't kill anyone. My brother told me what happened in his own eyes, and I am pretty sure that the cat lied to you." Mari spoke seriously as Surzex thought for a moment. He then spoke. "Sure, you can come as long as you don't kill them." Mari nodded. She was going to beat the truth out of Kaneko and the rest of the Gremry peerage. She soon headed to the infirmary where the girls were being treated. Additionally, Akino had also woken up, but Rias along with Venelana were in the ICU. They still needed treatment since their wounds were wholly magic in nature, despite having phoenix tears. Upon the doors opening, Kaneko and Akino wondered who it is. However, their confusion soon turned into shock and terror when they saw a female that looked identical to Issei. It only took them a few seconds to realize that this was the same girl that had prevented Rias and her peerage them from visiting, only successfully heading when she was absent, only for Issei to return and make an example of her. Both Akino and Kaneko were hyperventilating and shivering in fear when they saw Mari, who looked at them coldly. She then spoke. "Seems like the two of you recognize me, don't you?" Surzex was surprised as he asked. "What do you mean? Isn't it obvious? They know me, since they visited Issei's house without his presence of permission." They even tried to harm my parents as well, especially Rias, who tried to kill them. Surzex was even more surprised as he asked with slightly serious tone. Kaneko, Akino, tell me, did you visit Issei's house while he was away for months? Surzex's tone was grave. He knew that Issei was absent for months, which was what Rias had informed him. He was worried for Issei, and when he returned this was what Issei had become. And no, as she is lying. Akino spoke with fear, as Kaneko responded. Why yeah, as she would support her pathetic, PP pervert of a B-brother. Kaneko spoke emotionlessly, but there was hatred and disgust in their expression. Mari was about to rip their throats out, but Surzex stopped her. She was about to retort, but Surzex spoke. I got this, now even I know they are lying. I may love my sister, but I am not stupid. I will deal with this, and I will reach the end of the truth. You needn't worry. Surzex's tone was cold and serious, as he turned to the two girls, and spoke. This is your last chance. Either you two speak the truth or your memories will be extracted, and you will be punished severely. That is something I promise you. The girls became even more fearful, and spoke. And no, we cannot tell. Akino spoke with fear. Kaneko agreed to this. They would rather die than let Issei get an upper hand against them. As Surzex sighed and spoke. So be it, Grafia. Surzex contacted Grafia, who teleported right beside Surzex, and spoke. Yes, Surzex-sama? Surzex explained everything to Grafia, who narrowed her gaze and gave a shivering glare to the girls who wanted to escape, but Grafia froze their limbs, and spoke with a cold tone. There is no escape. Grafia unleashed some magic and knocked the girls out, as they had small tears in their eyes. She soon chanted another spell and extracted their memories of the past few months, and showed it to the duo. Surzex and Grafia were stunned when they saw the memories. They saw Rias telling the two peerage members of attacking Issei's place, and even going so far to threaten them for telling about Issei. Not to mention, they saw her commanding Kaneko to spy on Issei early on, and expecting Rainier to kill him, and even them kicking Issei out for his perversion. Mari was beyond livid when she saw Issei's broken state. She knew it was bad, but seeing it for the first time she saw it in person. If Rias were alive she would have ripped her throat out, and destroyed her very existence for harming her little brother. Sure, he was a pervert, but she did nothing to fix that, instead deciding to make it even worse. Mari, her thoughts were snapped out by Surzex, as Mari spoke. Surzex, I know she is your little sister, but if you are asking me to, Surzex cuts her off and speaks. No, Mari, I am not. I will make sure she is punished. Once she wakes up, I can assure you, you will never see her or her peerage again. Surzex spoke seriously, as Mari spoke in response. But ignore Asia and Kiba, those two had nothing to do with Rias and her girls. Surzex nodded in understanding, as the trio left the room. The girls were completely in their dream world. Once outside, Surzex then spoke with slight anger. Rias's case can be dealt, but that doesn't explain what Issei did to my mother. From what I was informed, she only wanted to talk with him. Mari once again shook her head and spoke. Quite the contrary. My brother informed me what had happened that day. It was your mother that attacked him first. She demanded him to apologize to her daughter, and worse, she was extremely rude about it. Surzex and Grafia were surprised by this. As Surzex spoke, tell me more. Alright, so it all began 2 days ago. That is when you found Venelana in that state, right? Surzex nodded, as he remembered her only being able to say Issei when she was asked on who did this before she fell unconscious. Before that, Issei was not interested in dealing with her to begin with. Despite this, he asked, albeit a bit rudely, on why was she there. When she didn't respond properly, Issei was the first to leave, only for her to respond with her power of destruction. Like many spoiled devils, she demanded Issei to apologize to Rias, and when she didn't get what she wanted, she thought it would be a good idea to force Issei to do so by almost killing him. End result, I believe what you saw, right? Surzex and Grafia nodded. They never knew the full story, and they understood that Mari wouldn't lie on a matter like this, especially on the first time when she showed on what kind of liars Rias and her peerage were. Normally, I'd be angry, since it was my mother that was in this state, but since I have got years of experience as a leader, I have learned to control my experience, and take the more logical and better solution than the more reckless one. Surzex spoke, as he bowed in front of Mari and spoke. Although, I would like to apologize for what my family did to you, Issei's attacks were only out of self-defense, or protection of his family. I can assure you they are hopefully not going to come after your family. Mari looked at him and had an idea on how they can come after her family. But if they do, they will lose everything and they are not going to risk it. Please raise your head up. Serzex looked at Mari as she continued, It is not your fault, although I would advise you to do everything in your power to keep them away from Issei and his servants. Trust me, you don't want to mess with them. Serzex and Grafia looked at Mari in surprise as he asked, What do you mean? Mari took a deep breath and explained who the servants that attacked Rias and her Peerage and Venelana were, and she also revealed that they were holding back, since if they went full power, they wouldn't even have their bodies left. She also revealed what Issei thought of devils right now and how it was taking him everything to not wipe them out. When she was done, Serzex gulped and Grafia went pale upon hearing this. I can't believe this. I am glad we didn't provoke him in any manner. Grafia nodded in agreement as she spoke with sadness. But how will we talk to him, now that he hates us to the point of showing racism towards us? Mari also didn't have an answer to this, as Serzex thought for a moment and spoke. Mari, I know it is asking you a lot, but can you let us speak to him? I need to apologize for what my mother and my sister and her peerage did to him. Mari looked at him and spoke. I will try, but getting rid of his racism is going to be hard. He has become really xenophobic, and it is all because of a certain king of heroes that I want to have a talk with. Mari muttered the last part with slight annoyance. She needed to have a chat with Gilgamesh due to how much his influence has changed her little brother. Serzex and Grafia wondered who this king of heroes is, and they wondered what kind of a person he is. I should get going. If my brother finds out that I was gone, well, I believe you know what may happen, right? Serzex nodded, as he knew that the devils will be wiped out by the servants. As he spoke, I will send you back. Mari nodded as Serzex teleported her back to Ko, and he did so to the same location that she was teleported from. Serzex soon sat down in stress, holding his head in worry and concern as he spoke. Rias, what have you done? Scene change. Ko Streets AM. Mari walked towards her house, and eventually reached as her mother Mickey asked, Mari, why did you take so long? Sorry Mom, I had a run-in with an old friend of mine. Hope I am not too late. Mickey nodded and spoke. No, you are not fortunately, but just inform us prior. Ever since those devils harmed us, and tried to kill us, we need to make sure that all of us are safe till they are dealt with. Worry not, I had a run-in with Lucifer. Apparently he plans on making sure that Rias and her peerage will never be here, after I explained everything, so for now we are safe from them. Speaking of which, where is Issei? Mickey thought for a moment, and responded. He is with Amiya apparently. He says that he has found a lead on a certain person named Kokabeel. He will come soon. Mari remembered just a few days ago that cursed arm managing to locate and hunt him down, even taking the Excalibur that he had. She then spoke. I see. Well, we should prepare some food for those idiots. Mickey sighed and responded. You shouldn't talk about Irina like that, Mari. Mari shook her head and spoke. They should have known to not spend money so callously. If anything, that is on them. Mickey didn't respond since Mari was right as the duo went inside to prepare some food for the girls. Scene change. Chaldea AM. Issei was with Da Vinci and Amiya, as he asked, so where is he? He is in the room. We have put magic seals on him so that he won't be able to move. Da Vinci spoke, to which Amiya responded, so what do you plan? Issei remembered two people that will make him talk one way or another. He then spoke, can you bring Carmilla and James Moriarty for interrogation? I want to know what Kokabeel wants to plan against my home and humanity. Da Vinci gave a nod, to which Amiya spoke, are you sure this is a good idea, Issei? Yes, I believe so. Those two know how to extract information from them. So that is the best idea. And I have seen Carmilla work her way well in interrogations since she has dealt with people like Freed before. Amiya gave a nod, as he looked at two figures that came in alongside Da Vinci. The first was James Moriarty, Archer. He is an older, sophisticated man with short, slicked-back silver hair and sharp, intelligent features. He wears glasses, which give him an air of scholarly authority, and his eyes appear to be a cool, calculating blue or gray. His clothing is lavish and formal, featuring a dark maroon pinstripe suit with gold decorative elements draped across his chest, adding a sense of regality and power. Over this, he dons a grand black cape lined with bright blue on the inside, and adorned with intricate golden patterns. The edges of the cape are decorated with butterfly-like motifs, and a swirl of blue butterflies surrounds him, enhancing his mysterious, possibly magical aura. He also wears black gloves and carries a cane or staff with an ornate, curved golden handle, while Carmilla, assassin, who is a striking, dark, and powerful female figure with long, flowing silver hair and glowing yellow eyes that stand out against her pale complexion, while Carmilla, assassin, who is a striking, dark, and powerful female figure with long, flowing silver hair and glowing yellow eyes that stand out against her pale complexion. She wears a highly elaborate and gothic outfit, with a black and red color scheme that exudes a dark majesty. Her upper body is adorned with a black, cage-like corset with sharp, thorn-like protrusions, and chains wrapped around her body, giving her an ominous, restrained yet dominating appearance. Her long, flowing red skirt is layered with intricate black lace and chains that hang down with glowing green crystals at the ends, adding to the eerie, magical aura. She holds an elaborate staff topped with a menacing, multi-pointed, almost demonic design, and she wears a spiked crown or helmet that completes her intimidating, regal look. The background and accessories, including the chains and ominous green lights. "You called for us, Issei?" Carmilla asked, to which Issei spoke, "Correct. Did Da Vinci inform you about the situation, correct?" "You called for us, Issei?" Carmilla asked, to which Issei spoke, "Correct. Did Da Vinci inform you about the situation, correct?" "Indeed she did. Leave that man to us, master." James spoke with a bow, as the duo headed inside. Amiya then spoke, wanted to ask, "How are we going to make the Chaldea tour with your parents? They are clearly clueless on how many of us operate, or their personality." Issei soon realized this, and exclaimed, "Oh shit, thanks Amiya. I totally forgot about it. I will contact MASH immediately." Issei was about to head out, as Amiya responded, "Wait, what?" Issei asked, to which he responded, "First, let's deal with him. If necessary we terminate and take him down, taking his Excalibur for ourselves, since it would be better if we keep it. I see you are only saying this because of Saber Artoria, right? Issei mimicked Amiya on how he would speak back when he was known as Shiro Amiya. Amiya got annoyed by this, as he grunted and responded, "Focus, Issei. Right, I think it is for the best. But the angels would cause a problem, Amiya. Even if they send 2 small fry exorcists to deal with a cadre class fallen, they still gave the 2 Excalibur fragments to them. Plus, the fact they sent 2 humans to fight against a cadre class fallen angel, it is like sending a mice to tackle against an elephant. What are these angels in church thinking?" Issei spoke with a sigh, thinking that it is the most stupid thing to send 2 exorcists to deal with a cadre class being, and the worst part. They are even willing to die for the cause of the church. Admirable but pointless and foolish, since this would only make Kokabile stronger. Then in that case point out their flaws and call them out. Da Vinci suggested, to which she continued in response, "If we can give a vital argument against them, they should back off. Hopefully, else we need to make plans to deal with them, and I know just the servants that would love to deal with them." Issei spoke, remembering Jeanne d'Arc, Alter, Quetzalcoatl, Rider, and Jeanne d'Arc, Berserker, and if needed, Gilgamesh would love to give them a word. He knew what he had to do, as Amiya gave a nod in understanding, upon realizing that the angel faction may cause complications. Da Vinci spoke, "We should keep this as a last resort, but if anything, we may have to prepare for war." "Right." Issei looked at Amiya, who gave a serious nod in understanding, as soon the room opened up, with Carmilla speaking with a smile, "He is ready to speak." Issei gave a nod. As the 5 entered inside the interrogation chambers, they could see Fried crying in fear and pain, almost terrified of what is going to happen to him. Issei then spoke, "Fried, are you going to speak up on Kokabile's plans?" "Why, yes. I will speak. Please don't let me near these 2. I beg of you." Fried was crying, pleading with mercy, begging for Issei to spare them, as he looked at the 2 servants, wondering on what the hell did they do to her. They only had smirks, as James walked forward and spoke, "Fried, my friend, it would be wise if you told Master everything, unless you want to have another conversation." James spoke with his eyes glowing red, as Fried could feel more fear. Carmilla had her staff ready, making him terrified. "I will tell, please." "I will speak." Fried spoke with fear, as he spoke in response, and my boss wants to unleash the Great War. His intention was to steal the Excalibur fragments, and harm and kill the heiresses of the D-Devil leaders. Please spare me. Issei only scoffed and spoke, "Oh, I should be thanking Kokobile. He is doing me a favor killing those filthy bats. They deserve what is coming for them. Bunch of disgusting existences, putrid to even gaze upon." "I see." Carmilla spoke with concern, to which Issei responded, "No, Carmilla, I am not saving or helping them again. Those filthy bats tried to harm my family and ruin my life. I am not going to help them. Let them all die." Carmilla knew her master's hatred for devils, and was aware on how much it was affecting his state. Issei looked at her state, and responded, "Sorry, Carmilla, I shouldn't have let my attitude get the better of me. I promised my older sister to not get into trouble due to my attitude. Sorry. I am still trying, but it is not easy given what they did to me. It's alright, no harm done. But even then, you got to stop Kokobile." Issei gave a nod and responded to Carmilla, "That I will, you needn't worry. We will confront Kokobile soon enough, but for now, we should dispose of him right now." Fried grew even more fearful as he spoke, "And no, please." Issei only responded by unleashing a lightning bolt generated by magic raft, and threw it at his stomach, making him scream in pain. As he spoke, "Shut the hell up. I know what you did to Asia and many innocent people who only had conversations with devils. You almost raped Asia for your own satisfaction, and you deserve to rot in the darkest pits of hell." The servants were surprised by this. As Issei spoke, "Carmilla, dispose of this trash. I don't want him here anymore." Carmilla nodded, snapping out of her surprise, speaking, "I shall, I see." The other servants left, as Carmilla looked towards Fried with contempt and spoke, "Goodbye, and good riddance." Soon the Iron Maiden belonging to Carmilla showed up ready to kill him for good. "No, no, no, you damn bitch!" Screams were heard of Fried, as Carmilla ended the life of Fried Selzen without any mercy or empathy. His last moments were painful and agonizing, with no one to save or hear his screams. Scene change. Issei was with Amiya and another person. She was a young woman with short lilac hair, lavender eyes and fair skin. She wears rectangular framed glasses, a gray hoodie over a black shirt over a white collar shirt, a red tie bearing the Chaldea insignia, a black skirt and tights, and brown shoes. This was Mash Kirilite, one of the first people Issei met, and someone who became a close friend and later a lover. "Senpai, we may have to set some rules for the servants if we have to make the Chaldea tour possible." "Senpai, we may have to set some rules for the servants if we have to make the Chaldea tour possible." Issei gave a nod to Mash as he responded, "Some might be a problem, and my parents would unknowingly make mistakes agitating some of them. I believe calling Mordred a girl would be one of the things that would happen." Amiya then added, "Indeed, another is Gilgamesh's arrogance, primarily, his archer variation that will cause problems." Mash took note of the two situations, as he continued, "Then we have Merlin who would play pranks on my mom and dad. We have to make sure he doesn't go overboard." The list goes on and on. Issei spoke as Mash kept writing down names of certain servants that would cause problems to the Chaldea tour. They had to make sure that they are kept in line. Mash took note of it, as Amiya and Issei kept discussing things on the servants that could be a problem. "Well, Senpai, I will get on with it and let know of the respective servants, you can count on it." Issei gave a smile to Mash, who returned with a happy and cheerful one, with Issei speaking, "Thanks, Mash. We will be having the tour once we deal with Kokobile." "Very well, Senpai." Mash gave a gentle and loving smile to Issei before leaving the room to do what she was asked to do. Amiya then spoke once she had left. "Well, we got the Excalibur fragments from Fried's corpse." Amiya spoke, as he gave the fragments to Issei, to which he looked at it and spoke in response, and contacted Gilgamesh, Caster, to show up. After a few minutes he showed up, with him speaking. "You called Issei?" Gilgamesh, Caster, was described to have short, blonde hair and appears to have light-colored eyes. His attire is reminiscent of Middle Eastern or ancient Mesopotamian influences, featuring loose red pants with blue patterns and gold accents. His upper body is partially bare, displaying his chest, with some decorative armor pieces on his shoulders and forearms. He wears a distinctive blue and white headpiece, almost like a turban, and holds a golden tablet or tablet-like artifact in his left hand, which features intricate designs. I did. Can you keep this with you? Issei gave the Excalibur fragments as he took a look at it, feeling the magical power in it, as he asked, so this is the infamous Excalibur I heard of that belongs to this world, broken into fragments. I did. Can you keep this with you? Issei gave the Excalibur fragments as he took a look at it, feeling the magical power in it, as he asked, so this is the infamous Excalibur I heard of that belongs to this world, broken into fragments. Correct, Gil. Could you keep this with you and not let the angels get them? Gilgamesh only responded by laughing and speaking, haha. That's it. The king of Uruk will be happy to keep it from them. These fragments are valuable in a way. Issei gave a smile and spoke, thanks Gil. Gilgamesh gave a nod before leaving. As Emiya spoke in response, I should also take my leave. I will help Kirilite with the tour that will happen. Issei gave a nod, as he lied on the couch being alone for a while. Soon enough, someone tackled him on the couch. This was revealed to be Tamamonome. As he spoke, I should have known it is you, Tamamo. Well darling, we got barely any time to spend, so all in all, we should be together. Tamamo spoke with a chuckle, as she wrapped her arms around him, and started to make out with him. Tamamo knew that she was alone, and this was her best opportunity to make out with him, since the other girls would also want to spend time with him, especially some like Koyanskaya and even Jean. They all want an opportunity with their master, and they don't let go of it. Issei pulled her in closer, also letting her body come closer to his. She was his first, and the first person to make him love again, and destroy the fear of loving anyone. And given both had been betrayed before, it was only a matter of when they got close, especially thanks to Tamamo acting as more of a wife than a servant. They spend the rest of the day together, knowing nobody would want to annoy them, at least for a while that is. Scene change. Hayata residence, Ko PM. Mari was looking at Irina and Zenobia speaking with Miki Hayadu and helping them with their chores, as she noticed her brother being absent for too long, as she could think of the possible things he could be doing. But then she knew the harem of female servants that Issei has, and she had an idea, as she muttered, no wait and tell me, he is. Mari knew she had to do one thing. Not that she is against Issei and his servants doing the thing, but she didn't know what answer she had to give his parents. She had to contact him and at least inform him about the situation at home. Quickly heading to her room, she contacted Issei, as he picked up the phone, speaking, Yes Marine, what happened? Issei, where are you? There are some things happening at the house. Mari responded, as Issei and responded with concern, with Tamamo beside him being curious as well back in Chaldea. As he spoke, why what happened? Did something happen? It turns out Irina spent all of her money in a painting that was performed by her fraud. I and Mom just found those two begging in the name of God. It was embarrassing for them, and Mom took pity on the two bringing them back home. I later found out from the blue-haired girl that she had spent all of her money in that. A sigh could be heard from the phone on the other side, as Issei responded, well it's good that you managed to get them out of there. Anyways, I found something interesting relating to Kokabil. It turns out he intends to murder the heiresses with the intention of starting a great war in this place. He also stole the Excalibur fragments. For this sole reason as well. The good thing is that we are keeping those fragments knowing that they aren't ready to keep them safely. And them sending two mere exorcists to deal with a cadre class really frustrated me. Mari took note of this and frowned. The warmongering cadre seems to want to use her hometown as a source for his master plan for triggering war. She understood that things are only getting worse and worse from here on out. However, she was aware that keeping the fragments will only cause problems, as she asked, but I see, won't keeping those fragments cause problems? Not quite. Excalibur never belonged to the angels or the biblical god. It was gifted to the humans from the fairies. None of the servants who were members of the Round Table intended for its return, and this was agreed by the fairies as well. And if fairies existed in this world, seeing the sword's broken state would piss them off to no bounds. Even the ones here were beyond livid. Especially two certain fairies in Chaldea I am familiar with will rip the angels to pieces if they found out that the sword broke in the Great War. They are well aware of its destruction, and it was hard for me to convince them to not go on a destruction spree against the angels. Issei explained to her, as Mari could only nod, remembering Issei mentioning one of them, being Morgan Le Fay, who calls Issei as her husband. She gave a sigh, being aware of the servants that were summoned by Issei in his year's span of being part of Chaldea as well as its only surviving master. Very well, Issei. But try to come back as soon as possible. You might also need to explain the situation to the girls as well. Issei responded from the phone with a normal tone. I will Marine bye. Bye I see. Mari cuts off the call and gives a sigh lying on the bed of her bedroom. Today was really an eventful day, especially her encounter with Lucifer. She wonders what is the plan for her the next day, knowing that she will have to deal with Kokabeel pretty soon. Scene change. Hospital, Underworld PM. What? Venelana exclaimed with anger, as she responded, You are siding with that human, Issei. He is supposed to be dealt with, Surzex. Surzex only kept his hand on his head and responded, No, you both are wrong. You both decided to attack him just because he didn't comply with what you wanted. Mother, you wanted him to apologize. But not only did you provoke him by demanding the apology, but you also tried to attack him unprovoked when I made a rule that we cannot attack any humans unprovoked unless we have a reason to do so. But I had a reason. He showed nothing but contempt towards us, and mocked us at every step. To top it all off, he had the audacity to leave. Surzex narrowed his gaze, while Grafia herself was keeping her calm. She looked at Surzex wondering what he would do, since her mother-in-law would doom herself and the entire devil race to extinction if she once again provokes Issei, who already has immense hatred for what Rias did to Issei. No, you didn't, it wasn't a proper reason. He already hated you, mother, because you were related to Rias and you were a devil. He didn't want to be here, yet you forced him to, and then demanded him to apologize. Then you attacked him. He could have sent you as a corpse, if he wanted to, but he chose to not do so. Venelana was even more irritated by how Surzex's response was. Her pride as a Baal and a devil was in full display. She hated that Issei was getting a pass for what he did to Rias, and her peerage coupled with what he did to Venelana after that, as she spoke in response. Are you going to deny your mother her justice? Surzex immediately shook his head and spoke, No, mother, I am not. And you aren't in the right. Let me make one thing very clear. Issei could have sent you as a corpse if he wanted to. You do remember your state when he defeated you, don't you? And let me remind you, his attack against you was in self-defense. Do you want to once again confront him? Venelana remained silent, losing her anger and becoming fearful of the memory. She still remembered the painful and agonizing state she was left in during her confrontation against Issei/Jean Alter. She didn't want to confront or have a match against him ever again, especially remembering on how brutal he was against her. Surzex looked at his mother's expression and responded, That's what I thought. I am not making an enemy of him and provoking someone that can destroy our faction in any manner. Your anger is barely justifiable, especially after hearing on what Rias did to Issei. As much as I hate to say this, she got what she deserved and is not going back to Ko, cause if she does, she is only going to be a problem to him and his family. Venelana only looked in shock, and responded, But Surzex, no, mother, I have made my choice and said what I had to. To all the devils, I am a leader first and then a family man, and I am not going to provoke Issei in any manner, causing the downfall of my faction in any manner. I am sorry, mother, but you will need to accept what has happened to you, and move on. Surzex cuts her off, responded with a serious tone, as Venelana could only clench the sheets of her bed with anger. She hated Issei getting away with his crimes. Surzex and Grafia left the room, as unbeknownst to them, Rias also heard the conversation. She had woken up from her sleep and clenched her fists in anger and hatred for Issei. I hate you, Rias muttered with fury, as she now couldn't go and study in Ko. She hated that she had lost her chance of being in the human world and living a normal life. She always wanted to live in Japan, and now she has completely lost that life, all because of that damned Issei Hayadu. I will find a way to beat you, Issei. This is something I promise you at all costs. I will destroy what you hold dear. Rias declared, silently vowing to destroy everything that Issei cherishes and cares for. He destroyed her life and her place in Japan, and now she was going to do the same. She started to plan and plot a way to head to Ko as soon as she could, but she had to do without the knowledge of her older brother, who would cause problems and stop them. But she vowed to one day defeat, or at least hurt Issei in a manner she would never forget. Chaldea Base, Ko, PM. Issei was speaking to Morgan Le Fay, Lost Belt, as he had to discuss on the situation with this world's Excalibur. She was a beautiful woman that has white hair, blue eyes, and a revealing black and blue outfit. She has a slender, taller, and with paler skin. Her hair is silver, almost luminescent, flowing straight down her back and framing her face with blunt bangs that highlight her piercing blue eyes and fair complexion. She is adorned in a complex, layered gown that combines high fantasy with gothic couture. The dress has a high, black collar reminiscent of a ruff, and a bodice that is both sleek and adorned with intricate patterns, giving it an armored appearance. This bodice extends into a plunging neckline, bordered by striking blue accents that mirror the color of her eyes. The sleeves of her gown are detached, flowing from her shoulders and draping elegantly down her arms, with transparent, wing-like extensions. Her gown's skirt is long and split, revealing the front of her legs, and cascades into a train behind her. The color scheme of her dress transitions from the black and intricate blues of the bodice to the stark white of the skirt. The hem of the gown is adorned with darker, feather-like details, reinforcing the bird-like motif suggested by her sleeves. Husband, just say the word, and I will make sure that those church fools of this world pay for recreating and disrespecting Excalibur, along with those filthy bats. I will destroy that blade into pieces that won't even exist. Morgan, Lost Belt, spoke with contempt, to which Issei shook his head, and responded, "As much as I would like to, not today, Morgan. Believe me, it is itching me to not kill the bats of this place, but for now, we got to play along. Speaking of which, where is your adoptive daughter and her knights? I did call them to discuss, correct?" Morgan, Lost Belt, nodded, to which she spoke, "Yes, the three are arriving soon enough, but why you wish to speak with us, husband?" "Simple. I have already spoken to Artoria, Alter, Artoria, Lancer, and Arthur and informed them about the Excalibur situation and have agreed to confront Kokobel on it. We have already gotten rid of Fried Selzen, the priest that has caused problem to Asia. Morgan, you can be assured that sword will be in Chaldea or will be destroyed." Morgan grew wide-eyed. She was surprised that Issei managed to convince all four of them to find a way to deal with the Excalibur. However, she shouldn't be, since he managed to remain sane despite confronting all of the singularities and Lost Belt till date. "You work fast, don't you, husband?" Morgan asked, to which Issei responded, "To make this place belong to humans and remove the bats present here, I will work as hard as I can." Morgan, Lost Belt, gave a smile, which was why she grew fond and eventually started to care and love him. She often used to bicker with Artoria, and even her own daughter used to have some problems with spending time with Issei. Even if they didn't love him, they cared for him and detested the devils that made his way of living miserable. Before they could continue, the doors opened, revealing three figures. First was Beaban Sith, who is depicted an elegant character with a strong gothic aesthetic. She has long, flowing hair of a deep, vivid pink that cascades down her back and frames her face, with strands of black mixed in. Around her neck she wears a choker that complements her outfit, and she has long, elegant gloves that reach past her elbows. Her attire is a complex array of Victorian-inspired design mixed with fantasy elements. The main color theme is a rich crimson, complemented by black and white accents that add to the gothic vibe. She wears a corseted top with intricate detailing, and over this a structured jacket flares out with sharp, wing-like coattails. The lower half of her dress consists of multiple layers of fabric that alternate between white underskirts and a dark overlayer, creating a voluminous effect. The skirts are adorned with lace, ribbons, and ruffles. Her stockings are a deep red with black lace-up details that run up the center, echoing the corset design of her top, and ending in high-heeled platform boots with ornate, claw-like embellishments. Her stockings are a deep red with black lace-up details that run up the center, echoing the corset design of her top, and ending in high-heeled platform boots with ornate, claw-like embellishments. Second was Barghest, who is characterized by several distinctive physical features. Her long, ash-blonde hair cascades down to approximately waist length. She possesses a notably tall, robust, and imposing stature, accompanied by a well-defined, ample bust. A noteworthy aspect of her appearance is her heterochromia, a condition in which her right eye exhibits variations dependent on her stage. These alterations range from an orange hue, a dark pinkish-red shade, to the complete blackening of the sclera, with only a red circular border remaining in the place where her iris used to be. The left eye retains a teal-blue coloration throughout her different stages. And lastly, Melusine, the supposed daughter of Albion. Melusine has long, flowing silver hair that cascades down her back and frames her face with straight bangs. Her eyes are a piercing, golden yellow eyes. She is adorned in a futuristic and ornate armor that is predominantly metallic blue with cyan and silver accents, featuring geometric patterns and glowing teal runes. The armor is sleek, with a high-tech aesthetic, covering her torso and arms, and includes thigh-high armored boots. She wields twin swords with intricate designs, matching the style of her armor. The blades appear sharp and lightweight, designed for swift strikes. The hilts have circular guards with the same teal runes as her armor. I am glad you three arrived at such a short time. Barghest was the first to speak confidentially. I will come for you, Master Issei, no matter what happens. Even if it is a trivial matter. I agree. So is it that time of the year yet, where we go for a battle? It's been a while as such. Beaban Sith responded with a normal tone, to which Issei responded, yes. Did Mash inform you about the situation we have? Regarding the swords? We don't mind going at war with the church, just my mother would be enough for them, Issei. Beaban Sith responded, to which Issei spoke while shaking his head. We were talking about the situation earlier, and we plan on making a negotiation to them. If that doesn't work, then it's wartime. Sounds good? Issei knew full well that the Lost Belt Knights of the Round Table hated the Excalibur of this world, at a personal level. They knew about this from Issei, and even Irina and Zenobia were strictly warned by Amiya, Archer, to not refer the swords they hold as Excalibur since they don't take it too kindly. But Master, it is an insult. Melusine spoke with slight anger, as she continued, the sword is supposed to be unbreakable. But here it is broken, we can't let this slide. We have to set things right. I understand this, Melusine, but please for now, keep it in. For my sake, please. Issei spoke with a respectful tone, to which Melusine looked at him and shook her head, speaking, Master, we are your servants, so it is our duty to listen to you, but I am glad that you are considering our sentiments and thoughts like always. Yeah, what Melusine said. Anyways, you seem a bit exhausted. Did something happen? Barghest spoke with a concerned tone, to which Issei spoke, nothing much, just was working for the Chaldea tour. I had some discussion with the director, and he had informed me what I had to do and where I could take them. Then I had to speak with the servants and check which can cause trouble in Chaldea, to keep them in check. It was exhausting, but I was able to pull it off thanks to Mash and Tamamo assisting me. That isn't nothing much, Master. It is too much. You overwork a lot, don't you realize that? Melusine exclaimed, to which Barghest spoke, Melusine is correct, you need to rest. You are going home, let us handle the rest. Issei only chuckled, and spoke, I will be fine, this is not the first time I have worked too much. This job can be quite demanding, but if it means to protect humanity and history, I don't mind sacrificing my happiness for the sake of it. Even more, if it is meant for family. No! Melusine exclaimed in response, to which she continued, you are resting for a while, and that is final. Plus, it is late at night, you should be heading home. Issei tried to retort, but a glare from the three knights made him silent, as he spoke with a normal smile, fine. The girls, including Morgan, sighed in relief, as Melusine responded, speaking of which, did you find out on the White One, Albion? The others looked at the boosted gear that had been awakened. As Drake had finally spoken, the White One has finally awakened, he would soon be arriving. So he is here, right? That means... Melusine spoke, to which Drake responded, yes, the battle that was continued for centuries shall resume now. Plus, I am curious to see on how Albion would react when he finds out that he has a daughter in the FGO world, and is dating my partner. True, but if they are a devil, then Melusine spoke, with Morgan adding, or if they try to attack husbands' loved ones. They can try, but they will be dead. Drake, if I am fighting this battle, you know how it is going to go, right? Issei spoke with a serious tone, to which Drake responded, I know, there will be only one battle and it will be our last. Yep, we don't know if this white dragon is peaceful or not. If the latter is true, then it is the ending of a rivalry. As long as civilians aren't involved, especially my mom, Dad and Asia, then I am fine with it, but if that line crosses then you know what is going to happen, right? Drake nodded, not being against this since even the Welsh dragon is part of Chaldea. Even he understood the responsibilities and tasks which he had to do when assisting the lone master of Chaldea. I am aware, and I am not against it. Plus, when we fought against all singularities, we both had developed a bond, and I don't want to lose that. Issei nodded in agreement, as he soon got a text from his parents, with them worrying over his dinner. He then spoke to the girls. Well, I will be heading home. If that is what you all want. Issei soon decided to teleport in a Red Dragon Emperor circle, as he waved goodbye to the four, with them returning the gesture. Wait, did we decide who gets to sleep with Master today? Barghest asked, as the girls grew wide-eyed. Baobin Sith then responded, I will be the one to sleep next to him, when he comes here. Not fair, I want him to. Melusine responded, to which Barghest spoke with slight annoyance. Master Issei likes my body the most, unlike you two flat fairies. Barghest's words made the two fairy knights angry, as they were about to lunge at Barghest, who was ready. Then I will rest on top. Melusine responded to Barghest, which caused even more problems. Morgan, Lost Belt, could only sigh seeing this before exclaiming, Enough! The word was enough to get the three fairies still. They could see Morgan, Lost Belt, getting angry, as she responded, You three are still considered to be Knights of the Round Table, act as such, and given you all are behaving in such a manner, I have decided that I shall be the one to spend time with my husband. Morgan, Lost Belt, responded with an evil smile, as the three knights wanted to retort, but a cold look from Morgan, Lost Belt, made them nervous and back away, albeit reluctantly. Scene change. Hayate Residence, Ko, Japan, PM. Issei returned back home, as he opened the door. He was greeted by his mother speaking. Issei, where have you been? Do you know it has been too late? I know, I just had some more work I had to do. This job is as intense as it is supposed to be. Issei responded, to which Mickey responded with concern, Are you sure you want to do this? Well, for starters it does pay good. Mickey had a bit of an annoyed look as Issei continued, but on the bright side, I don't mind sacrificing some of my resting time to work. Call me a workaholic, but I don't mind working for a while. That is what it takes, to preserve history and make sure events are supposed to go as they were intended to be. Otherwise, if the past is unchecked, it will override our current timeline, and replace it with the one that the Lost Belt intends, not to mention singularities are worse. I work to prevent them. It ain't easy work. Mickey shook her head, and spoke, Well, that doesn't mean you gotta push yourself, you need some rest. I know, so where is food? Mickey gave a sigh and spoke, It is kept in the freezer, use the microwave to heat it. Issei nodded, as he removed his shoes, he headed inside to the kitchen and microwaved the food, speaking, So Marine informed me about Irina and Zenobia staying here? So what happened? Well, I and Mari-chan were shopping when we encountered those two begging for alms. I never expected to see this, but from what I remember Irina-chan actually brought a painting sold by a fraud. I should have warned them about this. Mickey responded, as she continued with a normal tone, Your Nei-san wasn't happy about this. She informed me that Irina has poor money management, and the church wouldn't have given too much money. How much money did they even give them? Issei asked, bringing out his plate from the microwave and keeping it on the dining table, as he picked up his chopsticks and started to grab a bite. Mickey then responded, Around yen if I remember for both, but that is not enough, especially with how costly some food can get. Doesn't surprise me, from what some of my holy servants informed about me, exorcists and holy maidens were asked to live pious lives. Jean, altar, despises the church cause of this. Issei responded, to which Mickey took note. She was briefed on most servants by Amiya, Archer, and Kyoheim, who had informed them on how most servants are and how they behave. Mickey then responded, That is true. Yep, and I am not sure if Irina's parents know this, but from what I heard the church didn't mind if the two of them perished if they had to save the Excaliburs from the thieves, primarily Kokabeel. Mickey grew wide-eyed and angered by this. She needed to speak to her friends about this, that being Irina's parents. She then responded, What? Issei, explain. Issei was slightly fazed, but he expected his mother to get angry, as he explained everything with Mickey taking note of every detail. Issei continued to eat his food once he was done explaining. Freed is already dead. We decided to end his life before he could become a problem. Any Excaliburs they had were confiscated and kept safely in Chaldea, until we decide what we should do with them. I have already spoken to Morgan, Lost Belt, along with the Knights of the Night Table from the Britain Lost Belt, and all of them have agreed to put their hatred for this world's Excalibur aside, and obtain all fragments. Issei responded. As Mickey took note of this, she then asked, Issei, is it safe to be in this place? Yes, Mom, it is. I did speak to some servants who are open to guard you. Amiya, Archer, and Kyoheim have already agreed to stay here. You did meet them, didn't you? Mickey nodded with a smile, remembering meeting the latter and getting along with both servants. Even Gora got along with the servants speaking. I did, and she seems sweet. Are you dating her too, Issei? Mickey asked, to which Issei responded, yes, and she does seem to be a more jealous type, but I do care for all my servants. I'd be lost if it wasn't for them. Mickey nodded, happy that she had people that care for Issei and can look after them. Kyoheim was also one of them, and he has friends that he can count on and care for. Anyways, the Chaldea tour is going to happen relatively soon, and preparations have come underway even more. All we need to do is wait for the whole mess with Kokobile to subside, and then we can begin the tour. Mickey nodded. She wanted to see Chaldea for herself along with Goro. Issei then continues, plus, even my servants wanted me to rest, so here I am. Issei, do you sleep in Chaldea? Mickey asked, to which Issei was about to respond, when he suddenly stopped all of a sudden. Seeing his sudden change in expression made Mickey alert, as she asked, what's wrong? Someone's watching us. It's those bats. Mickey took note of this. She knew that Issei hated the devils, and she also did hold anger against them, with the exception of Asia and Kiba, who were reincarnated and soon going to be human, as Issei soon teleported outside in a red dragon circle. The bat that was spying on them became alert when Issei went missing, as she tried to fly away, but Issei grabbed her and started to crush her. What is the batty familiar belonging to that filthy bat? Issei grabbed her and could feel the struggling bat familiar trying to desperately escape. What is the batty familiar belonging to that filthy bat? Issei grabbed her and could feel the struggling bat familiar trying to desperately escape. Fear etched in her eyes due to what Issei would do to her. After a while, Mari, Zenobia and Irina rushed outside, with Irina asking, Issei-kun, what happened? The Gremry bat decided to send this familiar to spy on me. And now, I will extract information from this one. Who knows, perhaps separate the bond they had. But as for now, Issei changes his hand, pointing a finger towards the bat familiar and spoke coldly, Gan. Issei used a Gan bullet from the magecraft he had learned to incapacitate the familiar, causing it to fall to the ground unconscious. He felt relieved knowing that Rias wouldn't find any information about him, or Chaldea. Is this magecraft that Marine told us about? Zenobia asked with a curious tone, to which Issei gave a nod, speaking, yes, it is not easy to learn, however. Most servants that were skilled in this field taught me this. I can't always rely on them to solve my problems, right? And don't forget the fact that he can boost his magecraft with my ability. Drake chimed in, which made the three nod. Irina and Zenobia were glad that he was not their enemy. Irina spoke, can you teach us in the future? That depends. I was going to inform you about what has happened. And what to do after this. Issei responded, to which the two were confused, as he crouched to the ground and picked up the familiar that belonged to Rias and took it in. He used sealing magecraft to seal its powers and prevent it from escaping. Once they were inside Issei's room, he begins to explain, now then, do you honestly wish to continue working for the church? The two girls were doubtful at this. At first they would have rejected the mere thought of abandoning the church, and would have been aggressive, especially Zenobia, but given what has happened with them forcing them to beg and a huge pep talk from Mari, and seeing on how the church sent them to literally die, and they barely had any money. At first I would have denied or worse struck you down for bad-mouthing the church, but given what has happened, and a talk from Marine, I don't know if working for the church is all that beneficial. Irina also nodded in agreement, speaking, yeah, Mom and Dad would get angry if I reject the church, since I trained in the church since the childhood, but now, I am not sure if I wish to work for the church any longer. Issei took their words into consideration. He had to create an organization that would fight against any threats without the need of the supernatural. He then spoke. Very well, if I were to ask you to work for Chaldea, would you accept it? The two were surprised by this, as Irina asked, You mean it, Issei-kun? I do, although the director can be a handful, I can give my word as the Chaldea's master and convince him otherwise, though I am going to need everything that you are capable of. Think of it as providing me a resume for a job. Issei spoke in response, to which the girls were tempted to join them, but they were having second thoughts. Their loyalty to church was extremely strong, but it was wavering, and was diminishing. Mari's talk about their current situation showed otherwise, and they wanted to leave. Very well, take your time. I am in no hurry either, since my main focus would be the Kokabeel mess. And speaking of Excaliburs, I wanted to inform you about what has happened when I spoke to the Britain Camelot servants that wielded the blade, both proper history and lost belt ones. Issei responded, as he continued to tell them everything including what Freed had stated, making the trio surprised with them pondering on what would happen if the lost belt and proper history Camelot servants tried to attack the church. From what they know, they weren't sure if they would survive. Mari, who was silent, had spoken in response. Issei, this would cause a war. The servants really want the sword destroyed or taken. Yes, the proper history wants it to be taken into custody, while Lost Belt wants to destroy it. The one that is the most interested are Bargast and Morgan, Lost Belt. Issei responded, to which Mari added, I see, so they want to destroy the church? What? That is a bit too far. Irina exclaimed with disbelief and shock. She was not expecting Arthur Pendragon to destroy his own sword. Zenobia then added, the servants are going to destroy everything? This is too far, not just a bit. Calm down. Issei spoke in response, causing them to become more concerned as he continued. I managed to convince them for negotiations before things get down to war. I could command them to stop, but I am not forcing them in any manner. Because if they treat Excalibur this callously, then I need to step in. The two girls reluctantly calmed down. They were relieved that they were down to negotiations before things get intense. Zenobia then asked meekly, why? It is because Issei cares for his servants, he treats them like family. That is why he won't force them to do something they don't like. Many of the female servants even like Issei, and love him. Issei didn't say anything and turned his gaze away. The two girls were surprised by this, with Irina having a look of jealousy. She remembered that she was the one that had given her first to Issei, back when they were kids. She then spoke, Issei, would you explain to us? I never knew you were a playboy. Oh God, what kind of a person my childhood friend has become. Irina's words made Issei grumble even more, leaving a giggling Mari and a baffled Zenobia. She wondered what kind of a person Issei is. She had respect for him regardless, since he did fight against so many enemies that threatened their history, and would have destroyed them. Anyways, we can deal with Rias at a later date. I am pretty sure she wouldn't dare show herself here personally after what has happened with her brother, hence why she sent her familiar. Mari responded, remembering the talk she had with Rias's older brother where he promised that Rias wouldn't involve herself in their lives. As Issei asked, what did he ask about? He wanted to know why you injured his sister and then mother, so I told him everything from your side. He did say that he promises to keep them in check, and we can only hope so. Mari responded, as Issei took note of it. He doesn't fully trust Serzek's Lucifer as well due to him being a doting older brother, but was surprised by the fact that he didn't take Rias and Venelana's side. She then continued, plus, from when I was forcefully teleported, he didn't intend to harm me. But he also seemed to know that if he brought you instead, you would have gone for the offensive. Guess he is smarter than both those bats. Issei commented, to which Zenobia responded, true, he is supposed to be their leader after all. Mari gave a sigh in response, as she added, anyways, we should head off to sleep. Issei, you need to go to school tomorrow, and Irina and Zenobia, we need to locate Valper Galilei, the one that not only caused the Holy Sword project but also is the one that is working with Kokabeel. The two nodded, in understanding, to which Issei asked, where is Asia anyway? She is long asleep, it was stressful helping out Mom in the kitchen. Mari responded, as he nodded. He and the rest soon decided to rest for the day, knowing that they will have to deal with Kokabeel sooner than later. Scene change. Rias's room, Gremory Mansion, Underworld AM. Rias was desperately trying to contact her familiar she had sent to head towards Ko to spy on her former pawn, but she failed to contact her familiar yet again. She could feel the connection, but she failed to sense the presence. She almost looked like a bandaged mummy due to the amount of healing bandages that were placed on her body to recover her from the brutal wounds inflicted by Artoria Pendragon. She had a scowl at this, remembering what her older brother had said, stating that she was no longer welcome in Ko Academy, taking what remaining territory she had for herself. Her brother had also warned her that she would lose her status as a high-class devil if she does visit Issei, provided she survives the onslaught that would come if she does become foolish or stupid enough to come to the very place that almost killed her, twice. That damned bastard. Rias growled. She didn't want to lose her familiar too. She and the rest of her peerage were only allowed to attend school with the added bonus of being constantly watched by Surzex and his peerage with their familiars so as to not provoke Issei in any manner. Rias turned to see Aquino and Kaneko, both having multiple bandages upon their bodies. They had still been recovering from the wounds inflicted on them by Issei/Artoria during their fight against them. "How are you two doing?" Aquino asked, to which Rias responded, "Anything but better. Honestly, just how did that pervert become this strong?" Kaneko muttered with horror and confusion, to which Rias responded, "I don't know, but all I know is that he is going to be a very big threat to our plans." Rias responded, to which she continued, "But I am stuck here, and even my familiar is not responding to my commands. I can still sense the connection with her." Rias spoke with frustration. She knew that she had to defeat and take out Issei at this point, given that he was ruining all of her plans and her very life itself. Aquino and Kaneko too were helpless in this regard. They also wanted to get back at Issei, but with what was happening, and Issei's current power to control holy magic that could have easily killed them, they were even more afraid of provoking someone that looks down on devils and wouldn't hesitate to do anything to hunt them down to extinction. Not to mention, his damned sister keeps interfering in my plans. Even without Issei around, it is her that kept her family safely. She is a pain, that damned human born with 2 gears. I hate them, I hate all of them." Rias exclaimed the last part, as Aquino and Kaneko could only look down, as Aquino added, "That's not even mentioning Yuto Kiba and Asia Argento no longer intend to follow your orders, and don't mind becoming strays." Rias could only grit her teeth and scream in anger upon this. She hated what was happening to her, and vowed to get back at them. She will make sure Issei grows for mercy no matter what happens. Unbeknownst to them, someone was watching over them. This was none other than a beautiful young woman with a voluptuous figure, long black hair with split bangs, and hazel gold eyes with cat-like pupils. Her attire consists of a black kimono, a yellow obi, a set of golden beads, and an ornately detailed headband. The kimono features a red interior and it is open at her shoulders, giving view to her large S, which rival those of Rias and Aquino in terms of size. She was sleeping on a tree, looking at what was happening. "Chiron, I will get you out from the devils, no matter what happens." Kuroka spoke up before she had vanished. She knew that the devils would continue to use her for their own purposes, unaware that this would trigger her downfall. Scene change. Time skip brought to you by Issei playing ping pong with the familiar captured. Ko Academy, Ko AM. Issei was with Asia and Kiba, as the trio were present in the infirmary of Ko Academy and were looking at Medea, Castor, who has long, flowing, lavender blue hair styled elegantly with some strands braided along the sides, giving a delicate and graceful appearance. She has striking, bright blue eyes and pointed, elf-like ears, enhancing her ethereal and otherworldly charm. Her facial features are soft and elegant, with a kind yet confident expression. She wears a long, form-fitting purple dress with puffed black sleeves and a high neckline, adorned with a large, ornate gold skull-shaped accessory at the chest. Completing the look are black gloves that extend up to her forearms, adding an air of sophistication and mystery. She holds a unique staff-like object, suggesting a magical or authoritative presence. So how long will it take? Issei asked, looking at Medea, Castor, who was breaking the familiar free of the pact with the rule breaker. She then spoke, "The magic has been set, the familiar belonging to that bat will soon go away." "Excellent, Medea." Medea returned a smile, as she added, "Should I remove the evil pieces that is in the both of them as well?" It would be convenient for me to remove them right away before Gremory can use it to control them. You sure? Rule breaker is painful since the evil pieces force a contract with the very soul. Issei responded, to which Medea responded, but you can use reinforcement magecraft that I taught you to counter this, Master. Pain will be there, but it will be far less than what you expect. Issei was in doubt. He wasn't sure if this was a good idea. Medea then added, and then you can use the black keys to permanently destroy the evil pieces, such that the Gremory whore won't even realize what has happened, and if she does, it would be too late. Issei was contemplating. As Medea lost her smile and became concerned, she was another one that had cared for and cherished for Issei, even falling for him. Yodo Kiba then asked, Medea-san, can this get rid of our evil pieces? Yes, I can. Your evil pieces is akin to a contract, and Rule Breaker can easily break and nullifies contracts. It's capable of dispelling and destroying any kind of magecraft, an effect suitable to the noble phantasm. Once it comes into contact with the ensorcelled item or person, enchantments, connections bounded through contracts, and creatures created and maintained by magical energy, they will all be returned to their original components in a state of the past. Contracts will be wiped clean and those with life will immediately cease to exist. And the downside is the pain, correct? Medea gave a nod, speaking, since your evil pieces is similar to a contract, it will break the contract. However, if what Master says about your evil pieces being linked to your soul is correct, causing fatal deaths in an event of a purge, then it is painful. Kiba and Asia were silent on this, as Medea added, I am not going to force, it is your choice. Kiba turned to Issei, and spoke, Issei-kun, let us remove our evil pieces. But Issei tries to retort, as Asia spoke, we will be fine. Medea turned to him, and gave a nod, she was ready to do it, with Issei looking at them and sighing, fine, Medea, do what you must. The witch nodded, with a smile, speaking, I won't disappoint you. Medea then turned to them and spoke, lie on the beds, leave the rest to me. Master, use reinforcement magic to prevent them from enduring too much pain. Issei nodded, as the two headed to the infirmary beds. Issei used a dimension magic to not let anyone interfere in the spell. Issei then spoke, Medea, it is ready. Medea nodded, she took a deep breath and started the chant. Magical providence, O natural master of this world, return all to its origins. Rule breaker. She unleashed a magic circle on the three targets, as she soon brought out the dagger, which is an iridescent and jagged dagger that is thin, brittle, and blunt. It's effectively non-existent in its capacity as a weapon, comparable to that of a regular dagger at most. Master, I will start with the familiar, and then proceed to the others. Issei gave a nod, as she placed the dagger on the familiar's body. Issei nodded, as the familiar screeched in pain when she stabbed the dagger on the familiar's body, triggering a violet light explosion that blinded the group, excluding Medea. After a while, once this was done, Issei walked up to a familiar, and used a magic seal which would allow him to control the familiar. This was a magecraft that was akin to a contract seal, but was different, as he soon stopped it after a while. Once this was done, a Welsh dragon insignia appeared on the body before it went away. Drake then spoke, so it is done? You took Rias's familiar for yourself? Yes. Issei mused, as he continued, I am pretty sure Rias is screaming in pain right now. At the Occult Research Clubroom, screams of the Gremory heiress were being heard, as she exclaims, why is this happening to me? Why am I in pain? I feel like my whole insides are being torn apart. Please somebody help. Rias continued to scream in agony due to Medea using Rule Breaker to sever the contracts between her familiar and her servants. Since the evil pieces and familiar contracts were made from magic, it was directly hitting her magic source, causing her to scream in pain. The worst part, both Akino and Kaneko were in their classes far away from Rias, causing no one to hear about her. Back with Kiba and Asia, they both gulped in concern at this. It was no wonder Issei was weary of using Rule Breaker on them, since it would cause them immense pain for both of them. Once this was done, Medea turned to Kiba and Asia, speaking, who wishes to go first? Kiba looked down, and spoke, I wish. Issei. Yes, reinforcement. Issei used reinforcement magic to enhance his body with it. He internally wished luck for Kiba in the hopes of him surviving. Medea looked at this, and nodded. She then stabbed the dagger again, making Kiba grit his teeth in the process. He remembered the pain that was caused when they had experimented on him during the Holy Sword project. This was nothing compared to the constant pain he had to endure. After a while, the evil piece came out, as Issei exclaimed Black Key. He brought out a long and slender rapier-like swords with blades measuring over 1 meter and extremely short hilts. He quickly destroyed the evil piece, completely destroying it without hesitation. Once the piece came out, Medea removed the dagger, speaking, "It is done." Kiba nodded. He felt human once again, as she turned to Asia, who was slightly afraid of what is to come. Issei once again spoke, "Reinforcement." He used it to strengthen her body. As Medea spoke, "Just close your eyes if you can't endure, it helps reduce the pain in your head." Asia nodded and did what was asked. Soon the dagger was plunged and Asia screamed in pain. Issei could only watch, gritting his teeth in anger, remembering the scene of Asia's pain when she had to combat Rainier. He took a deep breath to calm himself, knowing that it was going to be over soon. Once this was done, the evil piece came out, as Issei used the black key to destroy the piece again. With that, both Asia and Kiba became human once again. As they got up with Asia speaking, "Is it over?" Medea performed an analysis magic as she responded, "Yes, it is over. Both of you are now human." Kiba looked at his hand, feeling the presence, as he continued, "I haven't felt like this in a while now, since I was a devil for most of my time. But thank you, Issei. Medea-san." Medea returned the smile, speaking, "Glad I could help." Issei returned the dimensions back to normal, as he soon opened the door, seeing Motohama and Matsuda rushing towards him, with Motohama speaking, "Issei, something has happened while you were gone." "What? What happened?" Issei asked, to which Matsuda spoke, "There is a massive panic. Rias Gremory, she has fallen unconscious all of a sudden, because of which classes have been suspended for the time being. It is chaos all over the academy due to what has happened." The four were surprised by the panic, while Issei and Medea were aware due to what has happened when Rule Breaker is used. She must have taken immense pain because of Rule Breaker affecting both sides of the contract, and since Rias didn't have reinforcement magic, she was done for. "Well, it matters not to us. Should we go and eat our food till then?" Issei asked, to which the two boys nodded. They didn't care for Rias either, and knew the cafeteria would be empty by then. He then continued, "Plus, her fanboys and fangirls would come here due to what happened to her, so we should probably leave." His words were agreed by everyone, as he asked, "Medea, would you like to join us?" "It would be an honor." Medea was about to say master when Issei motioned that they weren't in Chaldea, and the two weren't aware of the supernatural just yet, making her speak, "Issei." Issei internally sighed in relief, as he turned to his friends, and spoke, "This is Medea, one of my friends I made in the time I went missing." Medea walked to them, and spoke, "You must be the two perverted friends Issei spoke so highly about. It is nice to meet you too." Medea spoke with a bow, to which Matsuda spoke, "Ex-perverted friends, but it is nice to meet you as well." Motohama nodded, as they soon left the room before Rias could be brought here. They decided to not get involved with what mess was happening with them. They knew that they can rest for a while till then.